disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
I am king. Your king is here.
All right, this is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena. We are back for another special episode because, yes, it is special. Wilder against Fury. Apparently, that fight is happening, and some people are having meltdowns. They're actually losing their fucking minds. And rumors are now that the LDBC will boycott the Fury Joshua fight. So they're going to be losing a lot of pay-per-view numbers, people. So big move by the LDBC. No, but seriously speaking, I just want to talk about things that I've seen on the internet, people that I've had debates with. So I want to talk about that because, when you're debating somebody on Twitter or on a YouTube comment section, it's just not the same. You can't really explain things properly. So now that's what I'm going to do today. All right. Before we begin, I just want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Luis in the chat, Elias, of course, Ignorant Boxing, Blue Collar Sports TV, the BDA Boxing Trivia Champion, who hasn't defended his title in a long time. He's like Adonis Stevenson. Ivan Papicino, SSV28, Virtuoso, Gonzalo, who else? John, the serial killer Gonzalez. Sorry. All right, let's begin. Who do we have here? Mr. BDA. I think he's going to be jumping in and out. And we also have on Discord Gonzalo. Yo. He's on mute.
Hey.
Ah.
What's up, Bucho?
What's up, man? Welcome to the show. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the heavyweight unification fight that will be taking place. They're going to announce this fight pretty soon, in my opinion. But what I've read is that they are targeting the fight should take place at the end of May, early July. And then they're going to have a rematch in November, I think. So I like the fact that they're fighting. I don't like the fact that they have a rematch already like in the plans because we don't even know if the first fight is going to be good. So that's the only thing I disagree with. I mean, obviously I want to see the fucking fight, but again, I don't like these rematch clauses. Recognize the Matrix. Thank you for your generous contribution. He just said goal. Well, thank you, man.
That's the rough goal.
What's that?
Joshua's been in exciting fights. Thinking about the Klitschko fight, the Dillian White, even the Andy Ruiz provided, good intensity in the rematch. I mean, he availed himself, so he proved his mettle that he gain back his titles. So I mean, even if he gets knocked out on the first one, he can still come back and readjust, and possibly win the second fight. And it's the way to maximize your revenue during the COVID. I mean, if you're gonna make good money in one fight, but not as great as you would like without the COVID, maybe in 2 fights you could make up for that loss.
Right, but what if one of these guys gets knocked out, or let's say Fury outboxes Joshua pretty easily? Like, would you be interested in a second fight?
I don't think that Fury will outbox Joshua that easily.
Okay.
To tell you.
All right. Well, that's my issue. I don't know what you guys think in the chat about adding a rematch clause already.
It's like you're branding him like this great exceptional boxer that nobody can even.
No. Listen, Gonzalo, I think it's gonna be a closer fight. I'm just saying. I'm just hypothetically speaking. Let's just say that it's a one-sided fight, and then you have already a rematch after that. Like, why would you want to see a rematch if the fight is one-sided? Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
I mean, you think Tom Schwartz? Not Tom Schwartz. What's the other guy?
Wallin.
Wallin, yeah, man. He was competitive, and Joshua's got better attributes physically than that guy. I mean, he hits harder. He's probably a little bit bigger as well. So, he's gonna be tough for Fury. He punches hard with both hands.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm opening the phone line, so give me just 2 seconds. Should have done this before. But anyways, so Gonzalo, you excited about this fight?
Yeah, I'm excited. Look, Wilder's very limited in boxing skills, and when you rush him like he did, even before the fight said, I'm gonna knock him out in 2 rounds. You only really have to be looking for that right hand. With Joshua, since he can hit you hard with both hands, you gotta be looking for that uppercut, for that right hand, for that upper hook. There's many punches that he can catch you with. Yeah. Even the lead uppercut, I think he was throwing in the Pule fight. He can tie you and hit you. I mean, and Wilder, once you close that distance, he can't line you up with that right hand from afar. Where he, like Pete likes to say, he throws it like an axe. Then his boxing game is reduced to near nothing. So I mean, yeah, it's more dangerous. And Josh and Fury, I mean, he's got to be cognizant of that. It's not just, I'm just gonna go in there and because I'm 270, I'm a big 6'9" guy. I'm just gonna go in there and unleash the beast on you. No, well, there's punches coming the other way, and since they're different punches, you got to be cognizant of that. Where you're stepping in and what positions inside that guy's wheelhouse.
So Gonzalo, you don't believe the narrative that Tyson Fury fought a perfect fight against Wilder? Because that's what some people are saying. Like, he fought a perfect fight. I think he fought just good enough to beat a guy like Wilder, but he wasn't perfect, right? Like, he was making some mistakes in that fight, but he could get away with those mistakes against a guy like Wilder. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
There's no such thing as perfect in boxing, like where you're not gonna get hit. But in the sense it was perfect because he did what he needed to do to beat a guy like Wilder. Once he took away that right hand, I mean, it's not just like a pure sport that you're not gonna escape scot-free with out getting hit with one punch. Yeah. No, it's mayhem. It's violence. You're gonna get hit with something. But I'm trying to say he fought the perfect way in order to defeat a limited guy like Wilder. Yeah, of course he did. I mean, there's nothing Wilder can do once he.
We will rise.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, he could have got caught with the right hand, but he didn't. So I mean, in essence, yeah, it was a perfect fight.
All right, we have Recognize the Matrix. Welcome to the show.
What's up? What's going on?
Thank you for the contribution, man. What's going on? We have apparently, we talked about this last time. Joshua Fury, it is happening. It looks like it's happening. And it seems like Wilder fans are having a mental breakdown. They are in denial. They're doubling down, like you said. Yeah, so I was talking to this guy. He was telling me like, how can you support a guy like Fury, a guy who has constantly cheated, who's a crackhead? Like, I don't even know why they bring up that crackhead thing. Like, he was doing crack. I don't know. He was doing cocaine for sure. I don't know if he was doing crack, but even if he was, like, that's a period of his life where like he's a changed man now. So to bring that up, it has nothing to do with the Wilder rematch. But anyways, so then we're arguing back and forth, and this is where it ends. I'm telling you people also in the chat, if you ever debate one of these guys, this is what you have to do. Just tell them, how did Tyson Fury cheat in the second fight? They won't be able to answer. What they will probably do is go and say, well, I don't have proof that he cheated. This is what the guy said. I don't have proof that he cheated, but based on his record of supposedly cheating, then therefore he cheated in the second fight. Okay, I said I don't care about the past. Tell me right now, how did he cheat in the second fight? They won't say anything. They can't say anything because they know they will look like fools. Because at that point they would have to tell you how he cheated, and what does that mean? And I'll come up with all these weird, crazy things like he had an egg weight thing on his glove.
Now
the
think about
floppy
that
glove.
for a second. You know what an egg weight looks like? Like, how can you sneak that into a boxing glove? And I'm assuming they're talking about the egg weight itself, right? That's what they mean.
Right.
Yeah. How
he snuck it in the glove or something. Yeah.
First of all, have you ever looked at Fury's hands? He's got big hands, so every time he puts on gloves, he like breaks them in almost instantly because his hands are so big. But then he's gonna, on top of that, he's gonna sneak in an egg weight. Like, these people they're
doubling down, man.
Really,
just like you said, they're doubling down.
No, they need to get a life. Like, I mean, think about this. Just think about this for a second. We all have our boxing conspiracies, right? But imagine being like going out of your way for like months, almost into a year, talking about that same thing and coming up with different scenarios and just making a fool out of yourself, right? If I would respect the Wilder fan if they're like, yeah, that fight didn't look right. Okay, fine. Maybe they're a little salty, and maybe they would have been able to get to, maybe if by saying that, it would have led to like an intelligent conversation. But these people went off the hinges. Like, it was the egg weight. It was first. Then he had his glove. Every situation didn't make no sense. He had his knuckles by where his palm's supposed to be. It's like, dude, he would break his fucking hands by doing that. Then it was, well, Breland spiked his wall.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Why would Breland do that to him? Money. It's money. Can you prove that? Nah, Wilder said it. And then it's, Wilder's my king. Like, these guys are, you know how low in your life you got to be to call another man your king?
Yeah.
The only person I ever called the king, only man I ever called the king was by force, and that was my father, right? When I lived with him. Because really, I didn't have no choice. He was the king of the castle, so that's it. I never called another man a king, ever.
Yeah, it's pretty. Like my man, my what else did they say?
My God,
my man. It sounds like a woman talking, though. When you say my king or my man, it sounds like that's what a woman would say. I don't know. It's just my opinion.
It's pretty sad.
All right.
It's a lot of another one is that I love Wilder.
Yeah, I love. I don't know. It's just it gets some
I've
weird
ever
vibes.
said I love a boxer that much.
Yeah, no.
I like girls, man. I like girls. I like women. Not dudes.
Well, I'm happy you do, man. I'm happy you do like girls.
All right.
And I'm not saying these guys don't like girls. It's just that I think they're taking their love for Wilder a little too far.
Well, they like girls, but they like guys too. So
Virtuoso, thank you for your contribution. He says, Bomb Squad Nation is basically black. What's this? QAnon? What's it? That guy with the Q guy that keeps bringing up conspiracy theories that never materialize. QAnon?
Oh, QAnon.
QAnon. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's
I agree with that. I kind of agree with that shit. Yeah.
John Gonzalez, thank you for your contribution. He says, the only king I know is King Bucho. That's right. There's only one king. No, there's only one king, and that's our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Right, BDA would say that. That's true.
Yeah, that's what BDA told me to say, to tell everybody. But thank you, John Gonzalez, for your contribution. All right, we have Pete, Uncle Pete. What's up?
Troublemaker.
What's up, fellas?
Troublemaker. Are you going to start trouble today, man?
Wait till y'all see the evidence that Wilder's going to bring forward.
Oh, man.
You guys just wait. We're going to get in front of the Supreme Court. We're waiting our turn. This election stuff held us up, but we'll be there.
Hey, Pete, what do you think about the whole Shelly Finkel thing? Like, he's like, what's he looking for? What does he want?
The Crypt Keeper?
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like a... So? Tell us.
Shit.
Like, arbitration? What's he saying? What's happening? Like, that guy wants just some money, man. He wants to get something out of this. He knows that he won't get the third fight. That contract expired. So he's like, might as well try to get something, you know? A penny, maybe a nickel.
Well, you said it in your video, right? that morally, Finkel said that Fury is obligated, not since there's
morally,
no like real obligation since that expired, but that morally he just has to think like that.
That's when you don't have a case. I mean, seriously, when you have to bring that up, well, we gave him a shot at Wilder, so now he owes us something. It's like, no. Like, no. He doesn't know you jack fucking shit. What are you talking about? I'm gonna play this video that Blue Sports said. Hold on.
And Ukraine, Russia, it is stated that
it's not loud enough.
Wilder more than likely will face off against former IBF American heavyweight world champion superstar boxer Charles Martin.
Look at how he introduces Charles Martin. Just listen to these guys. Hold on. Listen again.
Former IBF off against former IBF American heavyweight world champion superstar boxer Charles Martin.
Former world champion superstar boxer, like what? Charles Martin. Like, seriously, he's trying to like hype up the guy, like make him something bigger.
Yeah, that's what they do.
And he just says it without even hesitating. With no hesitation, he says all that fucking bullshit. Oh, somebody said no here. Could you guys hear in the chat?
Yeah, we heard it.
Anyways.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Look around. Charles Martin has improved. He has
Charles
improved.
Martin, his mind is fragile, man. Charles Martin might get a good shot in and fucking knock him out. You never know.
Yo, and he also said... Well, let me play it.
But unfortunately, it's a show December 7th of 2019. So he's been inactive years of age, stands at 6'2" with a 74-inch arm reach. So he's looking off against fellow Mexican heavyweight superstar boxer title contender Chris Arreola.
Did you guys hear that?
Wait, Wilder's gonna fight Chris Arreola.
I don't know, but I don't know. But when he introduced Arreola, he introduced him as a world superstar contender. listen to this. Listen to this.
Back, and there's reports that he could possibly face off against fellow Mexican heavyweight superstar boxer title contender Chris Arreola. Okay,
he might be talking about Andy Ruiz because he said fellow Mexican.
Nah, he meant Arreola.
He meant Arreola.
He should have said why not say fellow superstar, fat, past his prime, never was.
Exactly.
Fucking
he could have said that.
Or if you're gonna say superstar in the heavyweight of Mexicans, you say Andy Ruiz.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna say Andy Ruiz, and maybe he made a mistake.
Well, maybe you're right about that. Maybe you're right.
And then he also talks about an option for Wilder, which would be Kovnacki. I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah, and he said that would be a big fight. But then he says, like, but it's a foregone conclusion. I'm paraphrasing, but it's a foregone conclusion that Wilder will knock all these guys out. I'm like, fuck, I wouldn't be so sure, man.
Yeah, I don't know. He might have that Roy Jones effect. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know.
I would have said that you're right 100%, but I don't think he would ever have mentioned Ruiz, really. To be honest, I don't think he would have thought of that, like, thinking that he could beat him.
Man, if he doesn't knock Ruiz out...
Oh, no, he said that. No,
Ruiz is going to piece him up, bro.
Gonzalo, he did say at some point that he would knock out Andy Ruiz. Wilder would knock out Andy Ruiz. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's very likely. Yeah,
possibly he could.
he could. I'm not
but
saying
if
he
he
couldn't.
don't in 3 rounds, Bucho, I'm telling you, Ruiz will box his head in.
I think that
Just the
whoever
fear
Wilder,
alone, just the fear alone of Wilder, the reason knowing that Wilder gonna hit him with the right hand, he would just go in there and fucking with speed, get this fucker off me.
I think whoever Wilder fights, his opponents are gonna go in there with a different mentality than before, because now they think that they can actually knock this guy out. They can actually stop him. If they get the Wilder on the back foot, it's basically almost game over, man, for that guy. So, sure, you have to worry about the right
you
hand.
gotta jump on him.
Or on the front foot. He's vulnerable coming forward too.
Yeah,
You gotta jump on him.
Well-
You can't be lingering right in front of him. Like Luis Ortiz, you gotta go in there, guns blazing, and not get caught with the right hand. But other than that, go in there to try to, beat the guy.
Sock account in the chat says it's amazing how this is still a talking point. That loss was so bad. Well, are we talking about the loss here? Well, we have to talk about the loss because Wilder hasn't recovered from that loss yet, and his fans neither. From what I've been seeing, they're having mental breakdowns, losing their
They
shit.
want to be the only ones that talk about it, and nobody get and not get a response back.
Exactly. And it's so funny how they call Fury a cheater all the time. And somehow that's evidence that he cheated in the second fight. But they don't really want to tell you how he cheated in the second fight because they know they're going to look like fools. So it's just a fucking mess over here. Guys, the phone lines are open. And actually, I'm going to open StreamYard as well. So, we have a phone call. Let's take a phone call, people. Hopefully this fucking works. 667, you're on the air, 667.
I'm right here.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Oh man, I was watching y'all show for a long time, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy the things y'all do on the channel.
All right, thank you, man. So, what's on your mind?
But I want to get to like Wilder. Like Wilder, in my opinion, like he just like lost potential.
Oh yeah.
Because like the reason why he's protected like that is because if you know this American, he's the last one.
Yep, that's true. I don't see another American heavyweight on the horizon.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anybody.
Because if Wilder wanted to unify, he could have got the IBF from Charles Martin in 2015 when they were both under the same stable. And to fight him now, because think about Charles Martin is coming off, coming off a layup, and I don't even think he was training around the time. So PBC fighters who are inactive and not training, and they just pick him up.
Right. So basically, Wilder never improved, right? Technically speaking.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. That's the problem with Wilder, man. We've talked about this, by the way, on this show multiple times. Listen. Yeah, go ahead.
He's like, he could be a great fighter in the future, but I'm just saying, next out the division.
Listen, he's 35. Hold on. At 35, do you still believe that he can improve? At 35.
No, he's finished.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood you. Yeah, he's finished. I think he could have become much better.
Because
yeah.
Because at 35 years old, that's the age you're retiring at 35. You think about retiring at age 35, so it's over.
Right. Now some people claim because he's a heavyweight, but whatever. Go ahead, recognize.
His downfall in that fight was he was biting every feint. That was the downfall for him. So
he's a heavyweight.
I mute your. There's background noise.
That's me?
No, I don't know who it was. Go ahead, recognize.
No, if you look at that fight, There's little
Uh-huh.
things. There's little things that could make
Man, I
him
just wanted to
competitive.
call Andrew and tell you that Wilder
All right.
just I don't know. Like what do we have in America now? We have nobody.
Yeah.
PD
Right now we
guy,
don't. Yeah. Right
Baby
now we
Miller.
don't. He's right about
They're
that.
bringing that guy up. The other Baby Miller.
He has
Jared Anderson.
have the drug thing coming up.
Yeah, I
I
know,
don't think no promoters
Yeah,
gonna take any chance on.
there's really nobody.
Big Baby Anderson, and Big Baby Anderson, we have to see him against a top level fighter or something, because I'm not sure
You mean Big Baby Miller? Or
he's
Boosie?
at
Yeah.
that level to compete with Tyson Fury.
Oh, okay.
or,
Okay, you meant Miller, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
No,
Anthony
the other
Johnson.
guy's on the come up, recognized.
And the
But
reason
he's far
you
from
seen
being
the
proven.
like, even though he's Mexican American, you seen he could easily be outboxed if you just stick the jab in his face. So I don't know what America can do. So the best thing for the heavyweight division now is to let Joshua and Fury have the unification bout, and then the winner of that, they fight it again. They fight either Joe Joyce or what you call it. Let's just let the UK have all the belts, because America,
Yeah, they do
clearly
already.
it's time
They already
it's
have
done in American heavyweight boxing.
Yeah, Andy Ruiz is American. People keep saying, "Oh, he's thinking, I don't know, he's Mexican or what."
But he
he's
was
also
over.
American.
Wasn't American heavyweight boxing also over during the Klitschko era? Like, it's nothing new.
Yeah, you could say
I mean, it's
Lennox
not like
Lewis.
finally it's over. It's been over for a while, man.
You could
Go
say
ahead.
Lennox Lewis started to throw a wrench
Yeah,
into
after
that.
Yeah.
I would say after Chris Bird, it was done.
You're right.
We had we lost all our best athletes to football and basketball, so that's another reason why we're not gonna have any more champions. And PBC,
there's a lot of
dude
truth
is
to what you just
PBC's
said.
literally ruining boxing, in my
A
opinion.
lot of American fans don't want to accept that. Is that a lot of and I say this a lot, and people think it's just like
I just want to
talking
call
points.
in. I didn't even listen to the show.
All right, man.
I love the work y'all doing, man.
All right, thanks for calling.
All right, peace.
I don't know if
Hey,
I don't know if they can hear you guys, because he keep let
I
me
don't
check.
think they
I don't
could.
think you
Yeah,
can
I was
hear.
gonna. Hey, Bucho, I was gonna say something to what he said.
All right.
There is some truth to that, because like you think of like great athletes and boxing historically in America, you could say it was spread around. There was a lot of good Southern fighters. There was a lot of good Northern fighters, from the Northeast. Then you got California, but you could see now that the better, the taller, big athlete, they usually the heavyweight division. They're usually guys who failed at football.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like they're failures. I don't mean they're failures. It's
Dominic
just that at
Brazil,
football,
Gerald Washington.
dude, like the difference between you being a pro and being really, really good is like inches away. You know what I'm saying? So these guys kind of like they fail at that sport, so then they try boxing because they're physically they're physical beasts, right? That's basically what it is. But they're not boxers.
Right, they're not.
Yeah.
You need like a boxer that started boxing since he was like 9, 12.
Yes. Or
like-
even 13.
Even 13, yeah. But not at 22.
I see.
Like,
I see that in England they groom them since like a younger like age and level, kind of like the soccer teams, right? Where they got the farm team, not the farm team, but the you know what I mean.
the academy and all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Yep. I fixed the phone lines. It was my fault. And I want to thank somebody who donated. Boxing Kingdom, thank you for your contribution. He says, if Charles Martin KOs Deontay Wilder, the LDBC collapse eternally. Yeah, it's pretty much over after that. Well, actually, no, they would come up with some excuses. For sure.
They'll throw Charles Martin under the bus. They'll say that.
Don't. Yeah.
They'll say something.
Deontay Wilder did improve in one dimension, throwing that right hand and doing all these little like, what do you call it? Like some wrinkles, little nuances that make you improve while you throw that right hand. But he's just a one-dimensional. I mean, obviously, when you're fighting at the world stage against world-class fighters, you're gonna face fighters that have more than that one dimension.
I just saw a video like a few hours ago of Deontay Wilder hitting that punching bag. Now this video dates from like October 2019. Anyways, he's hitting the bag. Terrible There's not really any technique or anything. And then I'm reading the comments. Oh, you can see he's developing a left hook now. Oh, look at that. It's like, what are you guys talking about? I'll have to show you the video. It's terrible, man. And you can hear JD's in the background, like giving instructions. Like he's not giving any instructions. He's not even correcting any of the mistakes that Wilder's making. It's pretty fucking, it's weird. It was weird.
The best
yeah.
left hook that Wilder ever landed was the one he hit Tyson Fury with on his way down in the 12th round. And like, I do see that he can use the left. He's more of an instinct fighter, if you notice that, Bucho. When he's not thinking, he's a better fighter. When it comes to thinking, he's fucked because he's not a real boxer. He's a guy. Okay, I know people bring up, well, he had an amateur career and all that stuff. I think he got away with just physical gifts. You know, that's different than being a natural boxer.
That's what happens in the heavyweight division, what I've noticed. And by the way, I'm going to get to the phone call, but let me just finish this point. Mike Tyson, he was a small heavyweight. Yep. And so he was fighting. So it's impressive what he did. It's kind of impressive because of the size difference, that size disadvantage that he had. But what does that mean? If there's a huge size advantage and disadvantage in the heavy division, it means that somebody sometimes has a size advantage, right? And
you saw when he was off, right, Bucho? When Tyson couldn't afford to be off in a fight because when he got his ass beat.
Exactly. And so now think about a guy like Klitschko. He had the size advantage. He also had obviously skills, but he could get away with a lot of mistakes. Yep. Wilder,
and you would never really knock Tyson because you could see that the way he threw his punches, he kept his elbows in, he kept them compact. You never said, "Oh, Mike Tyson's using poor form." I mean, as humans being, we have limitations, we make mistakes, and we fail. But if you went in there and gave it your all, and still give it your all, and you saw on camera that the guy was doing his best, you can't really knock on the guy for doing that. Anybody.
Right. And then going back to Wilder, size. What advantages did he have? 6'7". He never really fought anybody taller than him, right?
No. Nope.
He never really fought anybody that was. I mean, how tall was Duapo? Anyways, he always had like a size advantage, and obviously that right hand. But once he faced Tyson Fury, it was game over, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little harder for you to control your body when you're tall, long, and lanky like he is, you know, where you need to keep your balance and not look like you're fucking swinging these crazy windmills. It's going to be a little harder, but it's not impossible.
Right. And, I forgot about the phone call. Damn it, call back if you want. But yeah. How do we get into this topic? The advantages.
I think when we were talking about it started off with the caller. I thought he brought up a good point about like the American athletes not too interested in boxing. You know, and that doesn't mean that if they start that they're just automatically gonna be the best. No, but I get what he's saying. Like it's just that boxing it's not a popular sport in America. It's just not.
Yeah, there's no incentives.
Yeah.
I mean, why did people get into heavyweight? Why did people want to become heavyweight boxers? Well, I mean, you had.
But my question is, if it's not a popular sport in America, how come the big fights happen in Vegas and in America?
Well, that's a big difference. Think of what Vegas is, right? Vegas is a multi-billion-dollar, gambling site basically. So when you put big names, remember what you just said, right? Big names that draw a crowd, but the average boxer is not a big name. It's not like baseball. If you're a baseball fan, there's like 20 superstars in baseball. In football, there's about the same amount. In basketball, maybe a little bit less, but there's like at least 10 like real popular names.
All right. 626. Can you hear the panel? 626. You're on the air. Oh God. Oh, did I fuck it up? Oh no, wait, hold on, stay there. All right, go ahead. 626. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, hi. I'm calling from Bellflower, California.
All right, man.
So
Welcome
I'm
to the
just,
show.
I don't know how to start, man. But I'm just now that I'm just thinking, I'm thinking that Tyson Fury will never like get like 100% like respect, you know. Like I feel like until the end of his career, they're gonna keep like shading him, like like Wilder fans. I feel like I think it's the same for Pacquiao and Mayweather. I feel like if you rival someone they called their king, they're always gonna find something, to shade them. That's all I'm thinking.
All right.
The world, look, he's got a lot of respect, but the bad people are the one that gave him no respect. It's like the world. The world is filled with bad people, but with all those bad people, there's more good people. It's just you don't hear about the good things. You hear about the bad things.
Yeah,
Look, Tyson Fury is if he keeps up on this route, and even if he takes an L, but he keeps winning big fights, he's gonna be respected. And the same thing goes for AJ. And if Wilder somehow clears his mind and pulls off a big win, the same thing will go for him, right? I mean, there's always gonna be criticism in boxing and sports. Period. That's just the way it is, man.
All right, caller. Anything else? All right.
No, man, I'm good, man. Thanks for the call, man.
Thanks for calling. All right, let's take another phone call. 719. You're on the air. 719.
That's the brotherhood.
Who is this?
Yeah. So what's the point of this show? This Wilder hate show number 500.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. That's
What's up, brotherhood?
Fury cheated.
I understand.
You want to defend?
I understand.
You want to defend Wilder?
There's nothing to defend. I mean, y'all can feel however y'all want to feel about him, but this shit don't make no sense. Like what y'all? I don't understand how y'all got nothing good to say about this man, and he exceeded expectations of anything. I mean, he started boxing at like age 22 or some shit like that, and he has absolutely no good technique or fundamentals, and he still became the man to beat in the division. So
we give him credit, brotherhood. You bring a good point, and we did mention this actually. I remember we said he actually did pretty good for despite his limitations, which he has a lot of. We did say that though. But we're not gonna sit here and say that he's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, or anything like the hardest heavyweight puncher of all time. That's bullshit, man. Because
he is.
He's not, man.
He is one of the hardest hitters of all time.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Mean?
Why? Okay, so then that means Fury has like the best chin of all time, man. This is not, it doesn't make, because he got hit really hard, man. Like he looked like he was dead, and he got up. So I conclude that Wilder has power. Don't get me wrong, but it's not. I think people have exaggerated. Like, listen, he's not gonna convince me that he's the hardest puncher because he knocked out Molina, and who else? Who else did he knock out? Areola. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you're gonna discredit his resume. I know that's the only thing you can do. But guess what? Them guys ain't been knocked out by everybody. They got knocked out by Wilder.
No, they were stopped by a lot of people. Though.
Wilder. So everybody is just happen to jump in the ring with Wilder. They just happen to fall the fuck over and can't get back up. It's just a coincidence, right?
No. They were very bad.
They were very bad, and apparently Fury was a fucking cherry pick in y'all eyes, but
he was.
I think he
somehow
he was.
Yeah, he was.
2 years of
so it don't matter exactly. It don't matter who you put in the ring with Wilder. Y'all got some type of fucking excuse for why the guy wasn't good enough or he was a cherry picker. It's always gonna be something. That's what haters do. I understand.
Brotherhood. Hold on. Let me just say something. Recognize, brotherhood. Wilder had a chance to prove us wrong on February the 22nd, 2020, against Tyson Fury. He had a chance, and he failed. That's it, man. What do you want? He had a chance.
Now, do you think Luis Ortiz a better boxer than Wilder? You just said Wilder had no skills and all this shit.
No, I think
Ortiz got everything Wilder don't have.
Too old.
So tell me how you gonna discredit Ortiz then?
Too old, and you can't deny he's too old. Come on.
What does that have to do with his skills?
Well, I don't know,
Dude,
but
Wilder
with
hit him-
age, I think your skills deteriorate. But go ahead, recognize.
Brotherhood, Wilder hit
Did that
him with
stop
one
White from
clean
getting knocked the fuck out?
One clean punch, and he knocked out. He almost knocked the fucking hair off of Ortiz with one punch. But Ortiz was outboxing him throughout the whole fight because Wilder wasn't really doing anything. He just like was waiting to set him up or tire him out a little bit so he can get a little bit more slower and then just hit him with the big shot. And we give him credit for like having that kind of one punch power. But as an overall boxer, a guy who went through a development stage, I think they handled him wrong. That's all I'm saying. And with that being said, I think that if Wilder could clean his head up and not bite for every single feint that Fury was baiting him with, he's a more competitive fight. Look at the first fight. He was getting outboxed, but he was still in the fight, able to knock Fury down twice. The second fight, bro, he was a dead man. He was just a dead man in that ring. He biting every feint, every right hand that hit him looked like it was fucking crushing him. He was just terrible, bro.
So who do you think the best heavyweight in the division is right now?
Not Fury, not Wilder, that's for sure. Not right now. I can't say.
I asked you who is, not who isn't.
I mean, it's between probably AJ and Fury. It's probably between.
Okay. Oh, exactly. So it took the best of the best to end Wilder's reign, and on top of that, Wilder was fucking 34, 35 years old. So this is not a young person we talking about either, since y'all want to bring up age and shit. So that goes directly against everything y'all talking about. So it took, for Fury to be top 2, it took him to take out Wilder. But that obviously says a lot about Wilder and how much of a threat he was in the division. If you beat Wilder and you become one of the best. So end the story, bro. Y'all just some hating motherfuckers, for real.
But was Wilder's resume really impressive, though, in your opinion? Was it really impressive?
It don't matter. Guess what? Fury beat Wilder, and all of a sudden, Fury's one of the best. So I don't think his resume. And this is your word. So how the fuck does Wilder resume have anything to do with the discussion? If you think Fury beat him and he became one of the best. So obviously, you either lying about you thinking his resume is trash, or you just a hating motherfucker. Choose one. Pick your
I'm gonna
poison.
tell you why I think.
By the way, recognize recognize. Your people are saying that your sound, their volume is a little bit low. So I don't know.
How about now?
It's the boxing guys turning his phone down.
Whatever. Listen, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear before. I don't know what people are saying, but go ahead.
I was gonna say the reason I bring it up is because I think Wilder was just given that title as one of the top best guys in the heavyweight division, but he only fought Luis Ortiz. When it came time to fighting Povetkin, there was always some bullshit going on. Povetkin really wanted that fight. Wilder and his team seemed like they wanted to make excuses. He didn't really want to fight what's his name, Dillian White, a guy that I believe he would have knocked out. He never really proved himself in that sense. And then he goes in there with the big dogs like Tyson Fury, and you saw what happened, right? The first fight, I thought he did. Obviously, he was much better in the first fight, but the second fight, what happened? When all the eyes were on him, he melted, bro. He melted. He fell apart. He wasn't ready.
Okay, but somehow it don't matter what you say. You think Fury is one of the best heavyweights after beating who?
He beat Klitschko. He beat.
Okay, and y'all have a problem with age, but Klitschko, it just all goes out the window.
Yeah, but hold on.
But who was beating Klitschko though? Who was beating him at that time?
Yeah, that's the thing. He was a champion. Who was Ortiz?
Klitschko been getting his ass beat since like the early 2000s and shit.
Yeah,
man. What you mean?
fair enough.
Yeah, but he came back and knocked all those. He knocked everybody out after that.
Listen, if Luis Ortiz was,
yeah.
Hold on, let me put it to this way. If Luis Ortiz, it's not black and white, all right. If Luis Ortiz was a champion, a reigning champion for like almost 10 years or something, and then Wilder would have beat him, then of course it would have been a big win. But looking at who Luis Ortiz was, he was really a nobody, man. He had that big win against on HBO. What was it?
the kid from
Brian
Philly.
Jennings.
Brian Jennings. And that was years after. That was years before he fought Wilder. So come on, brotherhood. Listen. It was a good win. Don't get me wrong. But
Ortiz.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Ortiz was unbeaten, bro. Klitschko had been knocked out by everybody and their fucking mama by the time Fury got his hands on him. Like we can't say the same for Ortiz. No matter how old you think he is in Cuban years. Like I'm tired of hearing that bullshit.
No, it's the truth. You know, the Cubans lie about their age, and you can.
He reinvented himself. He wasn't gonna give you free shots like Luis Ortiz, who's just standing still like a sitting duck. Klitschko was tying you up.
Don't degrade Ortiz just to make Wilder look bad, man. That's childish.
No, you remember Wilder at 34 years old is not an old man for boxing, man. And 40, 41, that's a big difference. That's old in Luis Ortiz.
Listen,
like I said,
right.
I mean, Klitschko,
Klitschko was like 40. So what you mean?
Luis Ortiz.
Yeah, but he was, like I said, he was tying you up, and he wasn't giving you free shots. Like Luis Ortiz was just standing in front of Deontay Wilder, man. If that were Klitschko against Wilder, he would have tied him up, and he wouldn't have given him any free shots.
Okay,
you don't know what Klitschko would have done. He got knocked out 3 times by lesser punches than Wilder. Wilder would have probably knocked him the fuck out.
Hold on, everybody. Gonzalo, hold on. Listen, brotherhood, the fact that you're comparing Luis Ortiz to Vladimir Klitschko is
I'm not.
pretty
Don't
much.
even say
Well,
that,
you
bro.
better come on. You can't even do that. You know, they're not even at the same level. Maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Ortiz is a better boxer. You're right.
You're out of your mind.
Vladimir had 20.
I don't see Ortiz getting knocked out by fucking guys like what's that dude that knocked Klitschko the fuck out?
Yeah, he never fought them.
I forget his name.
He never fought them.
That's the problem. They was nobody. He got knocked out by I don't even know their fucking names anymore.
Hey, listen.
They not household names.
I don't hold on. I don't think Klitschko would go 12 rounds with Kaufman, whatever that guy's name was. What was his name? Fat guy? Kaufman? Whatever.
And I don't think Ortiz gets knocked out by fucking I don't know, Joe Schmo.
I don't think Luis Ortiz Luis Ortiz becomes a unified heavyweight champion.
No.
So that's it. Checkmate.
To fight the right
Checkmate.
people like Klitschko did. He was
Checkmate.
lucky rather than actually accomplishing anything. Who was the fucking big threat when Klitschko was reigning? Absolutely nobody.
It wasn't Brian Jennings.
Shit, that was probably the best win he got through the whole fucking reign.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Look how he tied up Povetkin, man. That was a long time ago.
That was horrible.
That's the same thing.
I wouldn't bring up that.
But
fight.
still, that's a win, though. That's a win. And if that's what he needed to do against Wilder at the time or later on in life, he would have done that.
Look how he knocked out.
Povetkin was the man. Povetkin was the man to beat. That's what you're telling me.
It wasn't Ortiz. That's for sure. Who only beat Brian Jennings.
He was a good fighter, and he beat him.
Did Luis Ortiz even win a
He was a
medal?
good fighter and he beat him.
Knocked out a lot of
Now
other guys.
apply
He
that
was a
same
knockout
logic to
puncher, man.
Ortiz. Apply that same logic to Ortiz.
All right. You know what?
He fought nobody, man. He fought absolutely nobody.
Brotherhood, stay on the line because maybe somebody wants to talk to you. 667. You're on the air. 667.
Hey, yo, Bonafide.
All right, let me debunk this. Let me debunk this claim about Wilder's resume. Wilder's resume is complete utter garbage. He has Ortiz was old and washed up by the time he got him. Ortiz has high blood pressure. Ortiz never accomplished anything in the heavyweight division, really.
And neither has fucking Povetkin.
That's bullshit.
Povetkin was a former world champion, WBA champion.
Oh, now WBA champion is a real champion. WBA regular. You don't get that regular shit up out of here, bro. Fuck out of here.
He knocked out Chris Bird, Carlos Takam. He put that what's the kid's name? The other Cuban.
Dillian White, fucking Michael Hunter.
He knocked out Dillian White. I mean, what are you talking
Dillian
about?
White, all of them.
Yeah. Good point.
Like, what you mean he accomplished nothing?
What the fuck has Dillian White accomplished? What the fuck has Michael Hunter accomplished? since y'all want to talk about accomplishments, y'all just named a bunch of unaccomplished motherfuckers. But I'm supposed to buy into that.
All right,
but
so
y'all
tell
want to
me,
hate on Ortiz for not accomplishing nothing at the same fucking time. Y'all don't make no fucking sense, bro.
So hold on, Brotherhood. Why is Luis Ortiz so?
Why didn't Wilder want to? Why Wilder would duck him though?
That's your little fanboy opinion, bro. If you think he ducked him, it is what it is. I'm not talking about no bullshit like that. That's all opinion.
He ducked Povetkin, bro. That's a fact, man. When the WBC said,
he ducked the man that fell. So Wilder put some fucking drugs in his system.
He did it.
And made the fight and fucked the fight up. That's what happened.
Brotherhood, you're misinformed. He never failed it.
He did fail it.
No. He did not. I'm telling you, he did not.
No, it was overruled like a fucking year later. So I guess Wilder was supposed to sit around and wait for Povetkin
because Wilder always said, Wilder said he never failed. He never reached the threshold. He never passed it. He was 14 times under the legal threshold. Under 14 times. And Wilder said he's not going to fight him.
And that's Wilder's fault? That's Wilder's fault the fucking drug test came back positive?
They said that he didn't fail.
He failed, bro. Why are you sitting here actually lying? You all the way lying about this shit. He failed.
I read the legal documents. I read them.
Yeah, Ortiz, he failed the drug test too.
He didn't fail.
Yeah.
Well, if y'all, what's the point of you bringing that up? If y'all saying he shouldn't have no problem fighting drug cheats and shit like this, then you saying that Ortiz failed the drug test don't mean nothing in y'all case because y'all think he should be fighting drug cheats any fucking way. So what? Y'all don't make no sense, bro.
I'm just saying, fight Ortiz a second time though.
What you say?
Did Wilder have to fight Ortiz the second time?
Did he have to? I mean, apparently he did. Everybody was going on and on about him getting hurt by Ortiz and looking bad in that one round. So there you go. Fury had like fucking 5 rematches on the table. So I don't see what's the big deal about that.
Nobody wanted to see that fight again. There were other options.
Because why you call in, right? You call in when this topic is on.
Nah, I call in because I just know y'all some hating motherfuckers. I wanted to see if y'all could actually explain yourselves, or just come out and say we fucking hate Wilder, bro. Just say it.
Nah, we love the guy.
Y'all go with all this propaganda,
love him.
All these politics and shit to try to degrade this man, and y'all ain't never got no like.
Man, Wilder had one belt for 5 years, man.
That's true.
Okay, he exceeded expectations.
Yes.
This motherfucker can't box, bro. All he got is a right hand, and he still was the man to beat. Y'all, the dude that y'all call the man right now had to go through him to be called the man.
Hey,
so
Brotherhood.
if Wilder ain't shit, like y'all talking about, then why the fuck is Fury the number 1 or number 2 heavyweight after beating Wilder?
Klitschko.
That means y'all actually respect Wilder more than y'all want to be honest about. So that's the whole point.
Fury outboxed Klitschko. It was boring, but he outboxed and he ended the rank. Without Fury beating Klitschko, there wouldn't be no Deontay Wilder, really, if you think about it. Even though
that makes absolutely no sense. Without Fury being if Fury wasn't on coke, then maybe it wouldn't be a fucking Deontay Wilder. That's his fault, though.
A cokehead beat Deontay Wilder. Is what
I'm saying. Why he picked Wilder because he was on the drugs and he came out fat. That was the small part. Come on, man.
Oh, so all of a sudden the same guy that was fat and all of this shit, all of a sudden he the best boxer in the world by beating Wilder, though. So you degrading Fury just to make Wilder look bad, but y'all the same motherfuckers that pump up Fury and call him one of the best. Make it make sense, man. So Fury was a cherry pick all of a sudden after he just had 2 tune-up fights. So it ain't like he didn't knock the ring rust off or nothing when he came into the first Wilder fight.
Why did y'all want to fight Wilder, though?
Didn't y'all just
what reason
pump
y'all
up
could've had
Fury?
it December?
Didn't y'all just pump up Fury and say he the man that beat Klitschko? You just got done saying he outboxed Klitschko and you pumping him up. Now all of a sudden when Wilder fight him, Fury is a fat man.
No, that's not the reason. But no, hold on, all right, brotherhood. Everybody, hold on. All right, hold on. I want to move on. All right, so I want to take another phone call. Let's just populate this place.
All right, man.
All right, 67. Thanks for calling. 978. You're on the air. 978.
Yeah, I've got a question for Brotherhood.
Oh, this is Jimmy.
Well, it's not so much. Yeah, what's up, kid?
The hell? I sent you a
was in
link.
the car driving home and I turned the show on.
Okay, go ahead.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, no, but it was just quicker because I was in the car, so I just dialed up. No, but taking my opinion out of this, right? No opinions, because what's opinion at the end of the day? Opinion. Go by, there was an article, I forgot, I want to find it, I forgot who wrote it. But any heavyweight champion with the 3-year resume, right, who held the WBC heavyweight championship belt for 3 or more years, Deontay Wilder has the worst heavyweight resume in championship boxing history. He's never... That's just a fact. The guy wrote the article and he put it all out. The next closest guy who held it for 3 years only fought 2 guys in the top 10, only 1 guy in the top 3. But they just showed like it is what it is, man. I mean, and it's not like you can try to defend what he did, how they raised him up, brought him through the fucking hand-picked, carefully crafted fucking resume. The bottom line is, if Brotherhood's arguing in one breath how shitty Fury is, but Fury destroyed fucking Wilder, and on top of that, beat him 17 out of 19 rounds. It's just how it is. And I'm not even I wasn't even a Fury fan. But hey, listen, I'll grab that link, brother.
All right, man. Talk later.
All right.
So when did I say Fury was shitty? So you gotta put words in my mouth just to try to make your argument. And then him saying that while the resume is bad, that's a matter of opinion, bro. I don't give a fuck what your article said. He want to say it's fact. That's totally an opinion.
Your heart tells you something else.
And I still listen. And as bad, or put it this way, my argument has always been that Wilder's not as good as his fans make him out to be. That's it. Okay. No, he's not the baddest man I've ever seen. He's the baddest man maybe you guys seen, but in my opinion, no, there was always better fighters. I never looked at him in the same light as Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Vander Holyfield, even Riddick Bowe. I never looked at him in that type of light. He's a notch below those guys because of his technique. He has, put it this way, his lack of discipline. He don't have the discipline to fight like that. He showed it one time, but it's just, it never materialized for him getting better. It always was, he just fell in love with that one overhand right, and until somebody stopped him from doing it.
All right. Anything else, Brotherhood?
Yeah, y'all still some haters. I don't care. I don't care about the little
we told you, man.
At the end.
We gave the guy credit. Yes, he exceeded expectations. But that's it, man. Listen, that's why he lost against Fury. Even you admit it that he lost to Fury because he's not that good of a boxer.
You did say that. That's true.
Okay, because then don't come up with the whole conspiracy theory that Tyson Fury cheated then. Right?
Bro, even if Fury didn't cheat, I mean, whether he did cheat or not, that's what I'm trying to say. Fury was always a better boxer.
Okay. All right.
But that comes with fucking starting boxing when you like 6 years old. So why is that surprising to anybody?
Listen, Brotherhood, I think Deontay Wilder could have become a great boxer. Think about it. The guy's 6'7", athletic. He has power. He has length.
220 pounds. Like the dude is a fucking physical beast.
Yeah.
Yes, but he's
a physical
That's
beast,
not a beast. He's a fucking stick figure, man.
No, but
that's
come on,
man.
no.
He exceeded expectation.
But he could have been.
What I mean, you're missing the point, bro. I mean, if he would have developed a lethal jab that came out of it's like he breathes air. He throws that jab like he breathes air. He'd probably be he probably wipes out this division.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he
fucking
probably
out jabs all these
everybody
guys.
else.
Well,
Yeah.
He fell
But
in love with his
anyways.
power.
well,
He
we could
relied solely
if we
on
could
that.
rewind time and put him in the boxing training when he was 10 years old. That's the only thing that
No,
would
it's
change his career.
brotherhood.
But
Brotherhood.
we got
Brotherhood.
what we got
No,
we got
no,
what we
no,
got
no,
for the
no, no,
moment,
no.
and y'all should appreciate him.
Wilder didn't. No, this is Wilder's fault. He's the one that didn't fucking train,
Yes.
basically. Let's be honest. He
Bucho,
didn't want
can
to
I say
improve.
something?
Yeah.
And you know, in the first Bermain Stavern fight, I saw some semblance of that. He could have done a little more because although he a one-trick pony, he showed that he can box like he did in that first Stavern fight. I have to blame somebody for that.
Yep.
The trainers fell in love with his power.
Well, if your opponent's going to stand, I mean, I'm not saying it's like a heavy bag, but have you ever like put it like a butterfly and stung like a bee, like Ali against a heavy bag, while a heavy bag's just standing there, hanging there? I mean,
that was
He had all the physical
Is that
tools
really
to
what
beat up.
is that really what we asking for from a power puncher though? We want to see him try to outbox people when we know damn well he could just knock them the fuck out. Like he giving us
Remember-
a show and y'all complaining
Brotherhood,
about
remember
him
Lennox
not
Lewis?
trying to outbox
he
and
could have been
fucking
Vlad.
do
He could've been
ballet and
Brotherhood.
shit in the
Remember
ring.
Lennox
Like y'all complaining about the wrong things.
Brotherhood,
There's a-
remember
there's
Lennox
a
Lewis? Remember Lennox Lewis's reign? Everything was set up from the jab, and he was actually slower than Wilder. Okay, he was actually slower, but everything came off the jab, right? And it was natural. You didn't have to, maybe you teach him in the gym. Listen, this is how you make your jab better. But when it came time to being in the ring, like that shit came natural to him. If Wilder could have done that, who's probably faster than Lennox Lewis in his prime, okay, because of his physical build, he could have probably had the same success, bro.
Yeah,
He did have the same success, basically. I mean, look, with all that being said, Lennox Lewis with his good jab and all of this good fundamentals and technique and shit, he still got knocked the fuck out by two lesser guys than him.
Yeah.
So what are we really saying?
Yeah, that's what. Check it out. That's why power punchers get knocked out. If you sit in the pocket too long, you're gonna get caught. You gotta stay mobile. Look at Manny Pacquiao. He's a power puncher, but he had to stay mobile when he was fighting these bigger guys. And you can pity pat and throw power, but not all your power. Then if you hit hard enough, you can keep keep hurting the guy. Similar like with Kovalev, you land these shots that are gonna keep the other guy thinking, yeah, you're gonna do damage. But if you sit in there too long, you're gonna get knocked out too, even you hit harder.
And if you don't know,
Man,
if
it's
you don't
just
know
boxing,
sound-
bro. It ain't got nothing to do with his style or technique. It's just boxing. If you go in there, it's 50-50 fight. One man lose, one man win. Wilder lost that night, and it is what it is. If he was Lennox Lewis, he still could have got knocked the fuck out if he had a great jab or anything. As we seen, Lewis got knocked the fuck out. But I don't know. Y'all hate Wilder, so y'all want to celebrate and act like he could have been the next greatest thing or whatever, or act like it's just the worst thing in the world to lose one fight. I guess Lomachenko ain't shit either. He done. He finished. That's what I'm gonna start saying.
Brotherhood. What you just
Terrible.
said in
Go ahead.
your last statement, how come Wilder can't say that? I mean, he got clipped, he got caught in the second round, he never recovered. That's about as honest of a take on the fight as you can get. I mean, you don't have to hype up Fury or degrade Wilder to say, all right, I pulled straight back, I got caught on the button, I got hurt, and I never really recovered from that until the fight was stopped. That's simple.
Well, on
Problem
top of
is-
that,
Go ahead, Jim. From Boston.
no,
Hey, what's up with you calling in from the car?
yeah, it's in the cat. Yeah, no, but my thing is this. Listen, I never had a dog in a fight. Wilder, I'm just never meant anything either way. I never voted for him to lose or win. I just watch his fights. But now, trying to destroy Mark Breland, fucking defiling his character, fucking never mind his reputation in the sport, accusing Fury of felonies without a stitch of proof. Man's a fucking, he lost his mind. He might be able to punch like Thor, but he's got the emotional stability of a toddler. And I'm not going to be pressured or questioned why I don't like the man. I don't fucking like him. I think he's a punk. I think he acted like a punk after he lost. He could have said excuses, but he's starting to attack other people. Fucking, he said a lot of stupid shit, and he's never fucking come back off it. Instead, he doubles down. Fuck him. I don't have to fucking respect him. He had no abilities, has no fundamentals, whatever. It was what it was. It was funny to watch him throw windmill punches and have to be tackled by the referee because he's falling over. But now that he's a fucking showed his true colors, that he's just a punk, I have no respect for him. So therefore, I'm not going to.
Everybody gave him the
So
benefit
everything you
channel.
just said could be said about Lomachenko. How many shows have y'all done about Lomachenko and his fucking excuses? Can you repeat the same shit you just said about Lomachenko?
How many people have he blamed for felonies? How many coaches took him in and paid for him to eat when he had no money?
I can answer your question if you ain't gonna run off 5 at a time. Lomachenko just fucking blamed CompuBox for some dirty shit. So what are you talking about? Ain't that a felony? He said CompuBox purposely put him behind.
CompuBox is a corporation. It's a business.
They have no.
They
don't have any.
I'm done, bro. I'm done,
No,
bro.
Hold on.
You about to make 10 excuses for why it's okay for Lomachenko to do the same shit Wilder been doing.
Brotherhood, how can hold on, Jimmy? How can CompuBox affect the result of a fight? CompuBox has no say in how a fight goes. Like they have nothing. Like they just show numbers. Like it's not even. They don't have any like influence on a fight. Is what I'm trying to say.
Inflation is absurd.
Yeah, it's
come on, man. Fucking Lomachenko, bad mouthing CompuBox is the same as Wilder destroying a man who treated him like a son. Yeah, that's the same thing, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah. Bad mouthing CompuBox is like bad mouthing judges. It's flawed. Everybody does it.
That's right, Brotherhood.
So Lomachenko didn't say the fight was fixed. So he didn't say that.
Brotherhood, let me just ask you: are you comparing? Who made the worst excuses, Lomachenko or Wilder?
Bro.
No.
It don't matter who worse. Who making 500 videos about Wilder but making 0 about Lomachenko? I wonder why.
It's the basis.
Y'all ready to make that show about Lomachenko?
I'll tell you who. The LDBC.
Until then, I'm gonna know y'all got something personal against Wilder. It ain't about boxing.
I just got done telling you what I have against him. I think he's a man of low character.
Wow.
I think he's a punk.
Well, let's see that BDA boxing show pop up about Lomachenko and his excuses. Cause it's like number 500.
We're gonna talk about CompuBox.
So let's see if y'all even make one about Lomachenko. I'm gonna put y'all to the test. I'm gonna be waiting for that video.
All right. So Lomachenko said something about CompuBox. The end. I mean, like it's like, you can even laugh at that. Like, here's the deal, Brotherhood. You can actually laugh at Wilder's excuses. That's why we make videos out of this, because he's a clown. He's a clown, and so people like that. People like a good laugh, right? Nobody can laugh at what Lomachenko is saying about CompuBox. So there's a big difference.
He said more than just that.
I'm sorry,
Lomachenko is like on his 5th excuse. And y'all want to act like it's just a CompuBox one. This is one of many, man. I'm not going to keep going through this, bro. I know y'all biased.
No, you can't.
Whenever y'all ready to make that Lomachenko show, let me know. I'll be the first to call in.
Bucho, can I ask you how many the largest ethnic minority in Europe, 12 million gypsies, and that moron from his front seat of his car called them crooks. All of them. These are crooks.
That's racist.
But it's the same thing as not the 5, the 3 excuses Lomachenko said. And I said right from the rip that was stupid, and it's his pride talking. But defaming fucking CompuBox and destroying a man who treated you like a son. If you're gonna honestly say that's the same thing, dude. That's it.
That's right.
That's a little what Wilder did. Like he's a coon, man. Stop it. What Brotherhood? He's a coon, man. Stop it already. He's a fucking
all right,
fella.
somebody. All right, in the chat, Elias is saying sneaking a compliment about Terence Crawford. It will annoy Brotherhood. So anybody wants to compliment Terence Crawford?
Yeah, Terence Crawford's a beast.
Yeah, he's got long arms.
Oh yeah. See, y'all hate Wilder with his resume, but Terrence Crawford with his fucking trash resume. All of a sudden, he get all the credit in the world. Y'all so damn biased, bro.
Brotherhood might have a point there.
Wait a minute. This is the first time hearing the Brotherhood is, his stance on Crawford. I'm assuming that one of your beefs with Crawford is his resume, correct? So how are you gonna tear down Crawford and then defend Wilder's resume?
Oh my God!
Brotherhood.
Let's see. One guy got a trash resume, and he had 3 divisions to choose from, and it's still trash to this day.
Oh.
Now the other guy, he's fighting who he got to fight to get to where he got to get to, and he fought who's considered the best in his division twice. He fought Fury twice. When Crawford fights somebody who's the best in his division twice, like a Earl Spence, or I'll give him even Keith Thurman, then we can talk about that.
Felix Diaz, Khan, don't trip, man. You know Crawford.
Felix Diaz is on Fury level, and Khan.
I'm joking, Brotherhood. Calm down, Jesus. I'm joking around. Listen, Brotherhood, you're actually, if you just section off what you said about how you described that second fight, I agree. Wilder needs somebody that can tell that to him. In other words, evidently he's not really accepting how you're putting it. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. You know it's ridiculous. Freeman spiked my water. You know this stuff is the mask. Come on, man. Look, well, Pete, he got quit. He's going to have the same career he was going to have anyway. It's not the end of the fucking world. I mean,
but
you're right.
Pete, listen, before we even get all to that, right? Brotherhood starts off by saying, well, he'll go, well, all you guys fucking won't say nothing about Crawford. I'm like, I'm listening to him say that. I'm saying, what is he talking about? Precise. So many people on this fucking panel absolutely eviscerate Crawford in his resume. I'm like, does he listen to the show? I think I'm one of the only guys who kind of talks, not up his resume, but I test his ability. Most of these guys are constantly ripping on fucking Crawford's resume. So that's just not factually true. So if you're going to insult everybody, at least have your fucking facts. I'm the only one who compliments him, but not on his resume.
I got a fact for you. Lomachenko is on his 5th excuse, and y'all ain't made a show about it yet.
Lomachenko,
that's a fact. That's a
fact.
How about
Wilder, bro?
Really? Name the 5 excuses.
Yeah, name the 5.
I'm interested.
Hey, I have to pull them up, man. I'm losing track. Track.
All right, the ones that come to your mind.
Anatoly spiked his water.
The ones that come to mind.
Spiked his water. His beard was too heavy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Brotherhood.
Well, first he blamed CompuBox. He had some interview on his channel where he said,
"Okay,
I'm not gonna name any names, but somebody was in on fixing this fight, and he pretty much got blasted by Bob Arum for that shit." And then it was like a few more excuses that I can't think off the top of my head, but I know he on Wilder's ass when it comes to the excuses.
Where's that link that says that shows
ready to make that show, let me know, please.
Just where's the link that says Lomachenko saying that fight was fixed?
That's what I said, right?
I think that fight was fixed in terms of the scorecards, but him saying CompuBox was bullshit. I mean, how many?
It's irrelevant.
How many people says CompuBox is bullshit? That's not throwing your fucking trainers under the bus, bro.
Excellent. And it's an outside company. It has nothing to do with the sanctioning bodies. Has nothing to do with the outcome of the fight. Like that. He found out about CompuBox the next day. So it wasn't like, you know what I mean? He could badmouth CompuBox. It's just a website in essence. I mean, big deal. Right. He wasn't blaming that. That's not an excuse to say that CompuBox cost him the fight. That's not true. So take one of your 5 off the board. He blamed his shoulder. He said his shoulder was fucked up. And he said the scorecard was fucking.
All right, guys. All right, Brotherhood. Hold on. I want to take this phone call. This guy has been waiting for a long time. 667. You're on the air. 667.
It's the same dude.
Yeah, man. This man talking about Crawford resume, but he can't face one fact that Crawford became undisputed. Something he did before.
All right. Yeah, he became undisputed.
I mean, if you thinking Dongo and Postar on Fury level, just let me know.
Hey, but you know what? You know what, Brotherhood? Crawford's the opposite of a one-trick pony. I gotta give him credit for that. He's really versatile. He can do a whole lot more than Deontay Wilder can. He can switch hit. He can hit you with any punch in the book. A lot more than Wilder can.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's why, like I said, when you start boxing at 5 years old, you're supposed to be able to do a lot of shit.
Yeah, if Wilder could do a little more of what Crawford can do, I'm not saying at that level, as versatile as he can, no, but a little bit more, man, he'd be a much better fighter.
And there's nothing wrong with saying that. It's just pointing out, dude, if he was just be able to fight, off the fucking jab, I think he'll be fine. He doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to start at 10 years old or anything like that. Yeah, go ahead, caller.
I just wish Wilder improved throughout his whole 10 reign and his whole boxing career. I wish he could have improved.
Yeah, well, wish, could have, would have.
Right,
I mean, it is what it is.
I get.
Yeah.
It's not. It didn't work out for him that way. And I blame his corner. I blame his corner, and I blame his development. The people that developed him, that were in charge of making his fights, they didn't do him that much justice. And look, I agree that the guy did well for being a limited fighter. He did. I picked against him a few times because of his poor technique. I even picked Stavern. I'll keep it real. I thought Stavern would clip him. But in that fight, the first one I'm talking about, he showed that he could box. But after that, they put him in there with guys that just stood there, and he hit him with an overhand right. And then he started listening to the fans, especially on YouTube. The man he doesn't need to know how to box. Well,
fucking claims he wants to kill somebody, dude.
That's just
fucking shitbag.
Jimmy, I give him a pass for that. That's just boxing talk, right? That's just like
dude, talking about bodying somebody, dude. If you're the heaviest dude, if he was a feather-fisted Leo Santa Cruz saying, "Yeah, man, how you doing? Yeah, I really want to kill somebody,"
Hey,
you would
Jimmy.
say, "Okay, dude."
Jimmy,
But
how
when
about attacking Brazil in front of his family? What was it? In front of his wife?
in front of the two little kids in an elevator, catching them coming off an elevator. Charging them with 30 fucking people, dropping F-bombs in front of the two children. Class act all the way.
Hey, you got to respect that he a man of his word, because when he got the ring, he damn near killed his ass, didn't he? You gotta respect that.
But calling for a dude's death, it's a fucking sport, dude. And he had a chance to pull it back. Instead, he doubled down. He said, "I want a body." And when you're the hardest puncher in boxing, which he is, and you're actually saying, so he doesn't realize how close it came. And it's all fine and dandy when you're coked up on the weekend banging fucking Instagram bimbos. But when reality hits and you're 45 and you're sitting at home with your beer gut and the fucking demons are calling because you killed the guy in the ring,
yep.
Live with that shit, dude. Eventually people grow up
But
and they
did
realize
you?
what they say.
What's your name, Jimmy? Ain't your name Jimmy?
Jimmy, yeah.
Is you a Mike Tyson fan?
Of course I am. I met him when he was 16 years old.
Of course you are. But this motherfucker talk about eating children and shit like that. But you a Mike Tyson fan.
Okay.
But a simple threat for Wilder, you just fucking hate him. Like I said, it's not about boxing with y'all, bro. It's not about boxing with y'all.
Let me address that. Address that, brotherhood. Not only did I think that was fucking shitty, next time I saw him, and it was actually not even about the kids, he said some other shit. We're all sitting up in the fucking Mickey's hotel room, and I said, man, I told him right to his face. I'm like, dude, man, you say some shit that's a little foul sometimes. And he said, I just get fucking carried away. And he said, Cuss used to pull him back on that shit. I met when he was 16 years old. He had a horrible childhood. Difference is, fucking Wilder didn't. Wilder was raised in a middle-class type of area, was the fucking high school star of his basketball team, was the big man on campus. He said everything. He's having a tough life. Mike Tyson went through hell, man. Raped, mother in jail for crack. I mean, the fucking fact this kid didn't end up murdering someone.
Grew up in Jimmy, he grew up in the
Brownsville, in the worst fucking city, in the worst time.
In all of New York at the time.
Brownsville was a fucking hellhole.
It takes some balls to say that to Wilder, Jimmy, like you did. Like you say you did, yeah.
Tyson.
No, the Tyson.
I mean,
yeah, we
Tyson.
But he was a good dude, man. He had a little childish voice, and he shook your hand, and it started at your fingertips and ended at your elbow. He had the biggest fucking hands you ever see them for his body size. and a gallon neck. But I'll tell you, he's a fucking emotional dude. Like, it don't take him much to cry. Like, you can get him to cry.
And he admitted, the difference between him and Wilder is that a guy like Tyson admitted when he was wrong. He would tell you. He was like, look, I'm an emotional roller coaster. I'm a fucking dude that sometimes I don't know when I'm going to snap. You know, and it makes sense when you think about everything that he's been through. But Wilder,
you can tell motherfuckers, they had people robbing him, dude.
Wilder is
his
a
guy.
gimmick. Wilder
They were
is a
charging him
gimmick.
$8,000 a month for towels. Fucking Don King was doing that. His wife, the movie star or TV star, had him on Prozac on national television.
That's because
Diane
he was,
Sawyer.
you know what it was?
You know what I mean? The Muslims, then they're pulling at him too, trying to get him away from. Yeah,
he was naive. He was an easy target. To take advantage of.
Well, dude, he had hundreds of millions of dollars. He's in his early 20s, and all he wanted was someone to fucking just like treat him like a fucking family member. And everybody came at him for his money. Everybody, even the people who claim they loved him. That dude's been fucked over since he was a kid. And I understand it is life, and everybody has their problems. But you can at least understand why a lot of shit Mike said, why he said this shit he said.
Yeah, love him or hate him.
So I'm noticing a pattern here. I'm
That's why I
noticing a
think he's
pattern.
got an
When it
aura
comes to
that
Deontay
people
Wilder,
follow him.
it's not okay for him to do anything. But when it comes to Tyson and Lomachenko and whoever else, it's okay for Tyson to eat children. He's from the hood. It's okay for Lomachenko to make excuse after excuse because CompuBox, blah 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 blah. It's an excuse for everything.
I know,
bro.
but
just admit
but
y'all.
he's not-
Just admit y'all hate Wilder for no apparent reason.
Yeah, but you know, in a weird way, you know, it is okay for Mike Tyson to say that because the world accepted him for it. Wilder,
Oh, my
not so
God.
much.
And what's
Hey, Brotherhood, why don't they like?
One at a time, guys.
Why didn't they embrace Wilder as like they embraced Mike Tyson? What's the difference? That's a good point, Gonzalo. What was the
Mike
difference?
Tyson was the people's champion. He was listen. Think about Mike Tyson. The biggest star in hip hop was Tupac. Tupac adored him. He loved Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was his big homie. He loved the dude. Okay? Like when Tupac hated New York because some fucking New York dude shot him up from Brooklyn, you know, the one person he loved, he never stopped loving, was Mike Tyson. Okay? That's the one guy he loved. So
Enough said. Say no more.
He was the people's champion. He was the ghetto's champion.
And what's the chances he was going to eat somebody's kids? You know what I mean? Like, was he really going to barbecue up some kids? But what's the chances Tyson Fury, fucking Wilder could kill somebody with his power? A lot better than Mike Tyson eating children. It was a stupid thing to say, but it was obviously it wasn't true. It was just it was a mean, terrible thing to say, but it wasn't something that could come to fruition. And fucking, Tyson did a lot of shit. He slapped the fucking kid in the head once. He fucking told us he had to pay the kid $200,000. Robin Givens, his wife, a parking lot attendant. They argued. She left the club. He was walking behind her. A fucking parking lot attendant went up to her to say what car. He thought it was just some dude hitting on her. He runs up and fucking open hand slapped him. He said the kid did a cartwheel.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he went back next day and gave him $200,000.
Also,
hold on. You know that Mike Tyson robbed. You know that Mike Tyson robbed one of the Wu-Tang members.
Your volume's low, man. I don't know what you recognize. Your volume is low. Now I can hear it.
Okay.
Scream.
You know that Mike Tyson robbed one of the members of Wu-Tang's crew. I think it was his mom in front of him when he was a kid. So when Mike Tyson was asked that, you could see like he feels shitty, right? He said, "Tell him that I'll give them money if they want." Like that's the kind of listen. This person is he was fighting demons and he shared that with everybody. Not that I agree with that you got to share all your fucking personal history with the world, but he's a guy that admitted he was wrong and he told you. Wilder hasn't shown that. Wilder hasn't shown that.
Okay, but
look,
you know what the difference is here? Y'all leaving something major out of this whole equation, bro. Dominic Brazil went on Instagram Live or one of those websites and he started talking shit about Deontay Wilder's disabled daughter. So y'all don't think he had a reason to want to kill this man?
What?
Who talked about his disabled daughter?
Brazil.
The same man he said he want to kill in the ring. So Dominic Brazil. So y'all Y'all making all
I
these
never heard him
excuses
say
and y'all don't
anything
even know the whole story, bro.
This is Brotherhood. This is the first time I'm hearing that. That's the first time.
Recognize.
Yeah, Dominic Brazil said something really fucked up about his daughter, bro.
And if you're right about that, then maybe he got what he deserved. Okay, I would say that.
Mike Tyson also, like you said, he showed his heart. But look, Muhammad Ali also said many controversial things. He was vilified. He was also considered a hero, and what is like the definition to be a world champion also. And Tyson displayed that too. But Wilder, he's only showed us the bad side, according to me, what I think, my opinion. You see, that's the thing.
Right. Wilder is like a humanitarian, man. What you mean?
Well, maybe, I don't know.
Well,
Wilder's a good. Wilder.
He's a humanitarian, but he's a humanitarian that wants to kill people. Like that don't add up. Like he's a humanitarian.
Hey,
don't
y'all,
push his buttons or he'll fucking.
Y'all
swing
call
for the
these guys
fences.
that go to war and shit heroes, right?
Well,
I mean,
because they're defending a.
Yeah, it's completely
that's a little
different.
bit of a weird question.
Yeah.
Well, can I just address one thing too? Because it keeps getting thrown out there. He says 5 excuses. You know what I mean? Bam, that was his comeback. 5 excuses from Lomachenko. Let's look at the excuses, and they're not 5. He actually said 3. He said his shoulder was bothering him. And for the record, I said right off the rip, I didn't like that he did it. I said it was stupid. But let's look at the things he said to how much truth they had behind him. He said his shoulder was bothering him. Within 48 hours of the fight, he was under the knife. So obviously he wasn't lying about his shoulder. Still shouldn't have brought it up, but he wasn't lying about it, unlike everything Wilder said. Second, he mentioned the judge, his scorecard. That fucking scorecard was criminally bad. What did he give Lomachenko? No rounds in that fight. Not 1 round, I believe, that one judge. Everybody, including fucking, what's his name? His own father said that card was fucked up. Lopez's own father said, yeah, that card was fucked up. So he wasn't lying when he said that judge filled that motherfucker up before she came to the fucking club the fight that night, because it was so off. I mean, a blind person could have judged that fight better. So the 2 things he said right off the rip, his shoulder and the judge was in the bag, and he talked about the comp box. That is hell.
So you agree? So you agree that the judges were paid off?
Wait, no. He never said the judges was paid off. That's not what he never said. No judge was paid off. He said the judge's scorecard, and it was fucked up. He didn't give him 1 round. Are you going to sit there and say that judge's scorecard wasn't fucking an absolute disgrace? It was, and all he did was bring attention to that. So bringing attention to a fact is not blaming somebody. It's not fucking lying and trying to destroy somebody's life and making accusations, accusing people of felonies and all that other fucking crazy shit Wilder's doing. He stated a simple fact. That judge's scorecard was fucking bark, and it was. His shoulder was fucked up, and it was. I don't know where these 5 other excuses. I know he mentioned CompuBox, and that's the only 3 I've heard of. And until you come up with the other 2, I'm going to stay with that.
Wilder better be careful with Vegas. They don't like to be accused of shit like that.
So blaming the judge don't qualify as blaming somebody. That don't make no fucking sense, bro. And we all saw him get beat for 7 fucking rounds. So he blaming the judges for the loss when it's actually him that got in the ring and performed like shit.
He didn't blame the judges. Why do you make statements of fact that are just not true? He didn't say I'm blaming the judges. He said one judge, the one judge that everybody, including you, will admit that card was fucked. So what did he do?
Yeah, you're right. I think the judges were off. I think he got beat 120, 108. So, yeah, you're right. The judges were off that.
Yeah, right. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, of course you did. But again, you can sit there and go, I'm hanging out. Fucking, it was 5 excuses when there was really 3, and 1 was CompuBox. And the 2 excuses is, regardless, I think they're shit. He shouldn't have said them, but they were fucking had truth behind them. Wilder said that this dude was hitting him over the head all night with a blackjack. Literally hitting him in the head with a loaded. Think about it. Hitting him anyway, a 16-ounce red in a glove, and then hitting him over the head with it all night. That's like 20 years in prison, man. Fucking, it's just crazy.
I mean, like Loma was like the things he complained about are like run of the mill, like the shoulder injury. We've heard that from other people, judges, CompuBox corruption, all that. But I mean, a weapon, bro. He's accusing him of using a weapon in a boxing match. That's like so over the fucking top. And being poisoned. by his corner.
Lomachenko literally said the judges had been bribed. Y'all, there's no way you can dance around that shit, bro.
Okay,
Prove it.
prove it. You got the tape of him saying that, or is that an LDBC dude saying
Yes,
that?
it's yes, bro. No, it's not LDBC. It's DAZN. Wrong letter, sir.
But so it's coming out of Lomachenko's mouth. He's saying, "I believe the judges, plural, were paid off."
Bullshit.
Look, I got the quote right in front of me. Well, he said it's not about bias. It's about being bribed. There was nothing honest about the judging. He's talking. He literally said the judges were bribed by somebody. So
one judge,
however many excuses you want to make for his excuse to be valid,
again, I just heard the quote.
I know y'all biased as fuck, and I don't expect nothing different.
I just heard the quote, dude. The quote didn't say plural. He said the judge. So regardless, one or two things happen with that scorecard. There's only one or two things. Either crippling fucking incompetence, which is come on, or what else? Corruption. Why else would you fucking make a card so egregiously bad? There's only two things. So one or two, and regardless, and again, it's still.
So corruption exists when it comes to Lomachenko, but it don't exist when it comes to Wilder. Now we getting somewhere.
But Wilder's Wilder's not fucking accusing people of corruption. Wilder's accusing people of felonies. He's accusing people of felonious assault.
You don't think somebody turning a blind eye and taking padding out gloves? You don't think that qualifies corruption?
But nobody took padding out of gloves.
No. We're not going there.
Apparently, yeah, you could say that, but that would be your opinion. That's a guess. But it's the same as saying somebody was bribed. Lomachenko ain't got no fucking proof that happened either, but somehow it's different to y'all.
He's got the scorecard.
Just admit y'all hate Wilder, bro.
Amen.
It's that easy.
How many different ways do I have to say I hate the dude? I think he's the piece of shit.
You don't like us saying that we hate him. But anyways, I want to.
I just want y'all to get to the point because y'all make
don't hate the guy.
bullshit.
I just dislike him. But hold on. I want to hear Stu. Stu, go ahead. Stu, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what's happening, boys? I've just walked into a heated debate. I mean, whenever Wilder's name's mentioned, I mean, temperatures rise. I mean, just the sight of the guy makes my blood boil, that's for sure. I mean, most people know my opinions of Deontay Wilder. I've made enough videos about it. You know, it is what it is with this guy. I honestly believe he probably holds the top 5 in the top excuses of all time. And there's been when you look in the history of boxing, all the excuses that fighters have used, Wilder tops the table 1 to 5. I mean, it was just what it was with Wilder. He would come out with a excuse and see if people would roll with it, and then when it got debunked, he'd come out with another one. It was just like exactly what in the morning. He'd get up in the morning, think of another excuse of why he got his ass whooped for 7 rounds. I mean, look, I actually enjoyed watching Tyson Fury tell Wilder that there is no third fight. There doesn't need to be. You know my opinions of trilogies. I mean, it's just very rare I want to see a trilogy. I mean, it's got to be a real top fight and competitive fights. When you look at the trilogies in the history of boxing, Gatti Ward's, that's competitive, them sort of fights. Bo Holyfield, they're the trilogies I want to see. I don't want to see a trilogy when the last fight was a 7-round beatdown.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, man. And look, these fans can get emotional all they want. They can talk about excuses. They could call Tyson Fury a coward. It doesn't matter, because when you look back, the history books will tell you that Deontay Wilder got smashed to pieces for 7.
Oh man!
Excellent.
Can I ask Brotherhood a question?
Yeah.
Brotherhood. It's kind of like how I see like the 9/11 conspiracy, right? There's so many different pieces of it. The demolition, the NORAD getting called off. There's so many levels to this. Building 7. So it's kind of like the Wilder conspiracy because there's so many little pieces. Do you believe every excuse they've given, or are there ones that you say, nah, I don't really like that one? But so you agree with the egg weights, right?
Which is impossible.
No, not right. Not right.
Okay, what are there any pieces like the lasers, the LEDs around the eyes? You think that one was real too? Are there any?
Look, none of them were true. The only thing I'll tell you what happened with I'll tell you what happened with Deontay Wilder. He went in there with a 6'9", 270-pound wrecking machine that was on his ball, on his game. Listen, he couldn't beat Tyson Fury in the worst shape of his career. The guy had been on a coke binge for like a year. He went up to like 400 pounds. I mean, he had to lose 147 pounds. Wilder still couldn't beat him. What did you guys actually think was going to happen? Look, Ben Davison's game plan made it half competitive in the first one. There's only that back foot fighting, which is worse than you can do against Wilder because you will walk onto one eventually. But look, is what it is. None of them excuses fly with me. It's all bullshit. Of course. The thing is, when you get a narcissist like Deontay Wilder, they can't accept being beat by a better man, so they have to find reasons why they got beat. And his mind's ticking over every day. And every time one excuse gets debunked, he's got another one in the bag. Come on, man. The guy's a fucking fraud.
Well, I'm just asking because I want to see
you can say,
if his fans
you can say whatever you want,
accept
bro.
everything.
All of that sounds cute and everything, but when you think Fury's one of the best heavyweights, right?
I don't.
Well, who else
I think Fury's the best guy out there, mate. Fury's the best guy out there for me. But look, that's an opinion.
He's the
but
best.
There's
So
no opinions.
So
Look, there's
beating
no
Wilder
opinions
makes you the
when it
best.
comes to
So
the
you
result of
obviously
the
think
Wilder
highly
fight.
of Wilder.
That's
so
facts.
whenever you're done with all that cute shit, just be honest.
It's not cute. Listen, if facts is cute
Disrespectful
to
with
you,
that shit.
if
Yeah.
facts is cute to you, then I'm sorry. I don't know what to say to you. Look, I tell you what's cute. Opinions, and that's what you're coming out of. I'm coming out with facts. The facts are none of them were true. And listen, he got his ass whooped. He got beat by a better man. He never would have won that fight ever. That night, it could have been even if he'd have walked in with a fucking dressing gown on, it still wouldn't have mattered. Even if Tyson Fury had like 20-ounce gloves on, it still wouldn't have mattered. The fact is, he was beat by a better man.
But also, it doesn't take the best to beat the best. That's inaccurate. The best guy can also beat up a tomato can. It happens all the time.
And look, like you're acting like Fury beating Wilder is what got him to be the best. Well, he beat Klitschko before that, so that's a much better victory than Wilder.
But somehow y'all said he was a cherry pick, even though he beat Klitschko. So that makes no sense.
Yeah, because the context of the situation. He'd been out for 2 years. He was a fat tub of shit. He'd been blowing lines.
And he fought absolutely.
This was after two tune-ups. If you want to talk about context, then don't forget the 2 tune-up fights he had before he fought Wilder. Before you try to give credit.
For bums.
Dude, did you see the fucking Safari fight? It was nothing. I think he landed 2 punches and the guy quit. It was a little. Yeah. It was just a little.
Luckily, because he probably would have had a heart attack.
That was a glorified sparring session. He probably got better sparring with Ben Davison. Do you know what I mean? Come on, man. It was a joke fight. It really was. Look,
it don't matter what you say.
Tyson
don't
Fury,
act like he just got up off the
Deontay Wilder,
and jumped
Deontay Wilder got the worst.
Hang
on a second, bro. One second, bro. Deontay Wilder, he got the worst Tyson Fury he could have ever wished to have got, and he still couldn't get the job done. Enough said.
You can try to discredit Fury if you want, but you just said he the best. So
try to discredit.
But best
you're twisting it the way you want it. That's what you're doing, Brotherhood.
Well, when somebody starts fucking making comments like this,
not me. Y'all said it, not me.
He's doing the whole best to beat the best shit.
Wilder needs to stop making excuses, get his head right, get a couple of fights, and then he could be back in the boardroom.
Well, the reason why he's not going to come off this bullshit, because the fucking fact going into that fight is hard as Fury tried not to, including saying it at the press conference, this isn't racial. This is just 2 fighters, 2 boxers. Wilder went out of his way to make it fucking racial. So when you make it racial, then you get ideologues like the LDBC. Then that's the fucking, then there's the kiss of death. Now they've made it that kind of thing. So when he lost, then it can't be now. It wasn't just a boxer beating a boxer. It was a white gypsy. And let's not forget, let's not just sky over the fact he insulted 12 million gypsies like it was nothing.
Yeah, look,
and not even any,
not even right? Yeah, the thing is with Wilder, right? You know he's fucking trolling, because if he actually believed this glove theory, right, then JD's has got to go. You cannot allow a man to stay in your team that sat there and watched a guy load his gloves or whatever it was and put your health at risk. This is the facts. Wilder knows this. Wilder's not, well, he is stupid, but he ain't that fucking stupid. The fact
That's his only job.
Listen, he knows that's not the case. That's why JD's is there. If that was the case, JD's would have gone as well. You cannot keep a guy in the camp that puts your health at risk.
Because that's all JD's job was to look at the gloves.
JD's job is to make sure everything's on an even playing field once they get on the ring. And if that's what happened, JD's failed and he got rewarded for it.
Right before he walked into that locker room there to watch the hand wraps, breathing off in the water.
Bob Arum said that Lomachenko's excuses were on the same fucking what's the same frequency, I should say, as fucking Wilder's excuses. So Bob Arum said this out of his own fucking mouth.
Well, he also said that
Wilder's excuses are comparable. So what y'all got to say about that? He also said that
Wilder's excuses are comparable to Trump. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Look, Bob Arum's Bob Arum's starting to look like fucking Joe Biden recently, man. None anything that guy said don't make fucking sense. He looks like Alzheimer's, man. Look,
I agree with that.
Bob said some shit, man. Bob said Pulev was going to knock out Joshua. I mean, we're really going to take this guy seriously.
But yeah, I got respect for Bob, but that dude don't know shit about politics. He's an idiot.
I'm gonna bring up the guy that I'm pretty sure Brotherhood called the white supremacist, but he compared Wilder to him.
Yeah, look. The thing is, like I said, look how Joshua took his defeat. Look how Wilder took his. The reason Joshua was able to bounce back because he accepted what he did wrong. He knew what he did. Wilder, there's nothing wrong he did in the ring that night. It was all other reasons. And this is the problem with Wilder. This is why Wilder will never.
The same man that said it was a lucky punch from the gods, who said they was talking about Anthony Joshua didn't look the same when he was walking out. They was talking about he had an anxiety attack and all this bullshit.
Yeah,
like, look,
he bounced back.
I don't want to hear that.
My point is, adversity came his way. Yes, he got beat, but he bounced back. And he actually, I was quite impressed with his performance against Pulev. To be honest with you, I thought he looked back to me. He had a bit more confidence. I'm not saying he's at his best, but he looked a bit more confident than he did in the Ruiz second fight. So yeah, look, Joshua did the right, but Joshua never once blamed his costume. Never once accused Ruiz of loading his gloves. Never once blamed McCracken for spiking his drink. You know, I mean, never once. Never once blamed
McCracken.
Blamed it on fucking the white man trying to hold a brother down. I mean, the excuses. I mean, come on, man.
He would come out and say, Ruiz came into the fight. He had bacon grease all over his gloves. It was in my eyes.
Imagine if Muhammad Ali would have quit in 1971 after he lost to Joe Frazier. He came back and fought a slew of contenders and got the title back again. Look at George Foreman, what he did in his comeback. Fought like 10, 11 tough guys at 40 plus years of age. No
and let's be honest, Wilder's arguing for this fight now, but he let that fucking contract expire. It was 90 days. 90 days after the fight was supposed to take place in early summer. And then because he had surgery, Fury's team gave him another 90-day extension. That date came and left. He has not a legal leg to stand on. And then on top of that, and it's about money. Because like Stu said, what do we need to see? Trilogies are there because you had two fights that were razor close on both sides. He lost 17 out of 19 rounds and got demolished. So it's only about money. Wilder's pissed because this is the big money fight. And Heyman's probably telling him, I'm not putting up any money. If you can't drag anybody into a pay-per-view, I don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all propaganda you talking about, bro. All propaganda.
What's propaganda? What's propaganda?
This is the BDA. This is not
Bro,
CNN.
it was the networks that pushed the fucking fight back. And it wasn't no contract expiring and all that bullshit that you repeated from Bob Arum and Tyson Fury, bro. And
propaganda. I just
and it don't even matter no more. Fury said he don't want to fight, so you can't force a man to get in the ring with you in the first place. Who was the first to say that they didn't want to fight anymore?
From Wilder's
Fury.
camp, mate. Wilder's camp were hush. Like I said, you could hear cotton wool hitting the floor. Not a word spoken. Yet the minute the contract expires, he opens his big mouth. I mean, come on, man. If you can't see through that, then you really need to fucking...
And Stu, the fact he's calling me a propagandist because I quoted the fucking what Bob Arum said in an interview 2 days ago, and he said, "We'll see." And what I hope you have, I'll quote you, dude. Hope you have that same energy when this shit gets thrown out. When it gets no, don't talk over me, dude.
You quoted Bob Arum, but when I quote Bob Arum, and
no. Listen, let me finish. Let me finish. It's going to court. This is going to have a fucking. This is going to have an outcome.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Take that L, bro.
Brotherhood, let him finish. Brotherhood, let him finish. Jimmy.
It's gonna listen. It's gonna go to court, and when it gets thrown out of court, what are you gonna say there? Are you gonna be calling the show? Hey, where's the dude who took the L? Where is he? I want to tell him fucking, no, dude, you were right. Of course you won't, dude. Of course you won't. Come on here with bitterness. You come on here attacking us. You call out our character. You fucking just an angry dude. And you come on the show to spew this shit. And the fact you're trying to conflate Lomachenko and the excuses he made, as bad as they were, nobody respected it, to the fucking obnoxious bullshit that fucking moron from Alabama did is amazing to me, dude. Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. No, you won't find one person on this show.
Calling me an angry
dude. I'm gonna say, Brotherhood.
Like you just got done kicking kittens and smacking babies and
get a
shit.
grip of this
What the
fucking
fuck
guy,
you
man.
talking about?
Listen. Stop interrupting the panel, please. We're trying to have dialogue here, right?
He talking to me. What you mean dialogue? He talking that shit to me. You expect me not to respond?
It moves a conversation back and forth, Brotherhood.
That's a good point, though.
Yeah,
I agree, brother. You use the other half of the conversation.
Look, I'm gonna just get off of here. Whenever y'all ready to make that Lomachenko show, just let me know.
Yeah, it won't be funny though. I guarantee you that it won't be funny.
Yeah,
Wilder has the best excuses. Wilder is like a clown. Again, he's a clown. And so that's why I'd rather make Wilder videos. They're more exciting, I would say.
They're more exciting.
No one on this show defends Lomachenko. I've not heard one person from our panel, right, that said, yeah, Lomachenko's got a point. Not one. So, but the thing is,
except the
reverse
scorecards. The one scorecard I agree with. Like
the scorecard. Yeah, the thing is, the result was the right result. That's for me. All right, you're going to get dodgy cards now and again. Yeah, that is bad. But the result was the right result. So there's not really
have a problem with the result.
Yeah, and look,
so for me, there's nothing to talk about. But at least we can hold our hands up and say, yeah, Lomachenko got beat on the night. He did. He lost the fight. But where you guys can't accept. I mean, you can't even accept that Wilder lost the fight. Yeah, he got stopped. I mean, this is where we are.
But this is so. Listen, we're consistent on it. So Lomachenko, he made the excuses, and we criticized him for making the excuses, and it was an appropriate criticism to the level of the excuses. And when Wilder made the excuses that were crazy, we criticized him like crazy. So it matched, the punishment matched the crime. Whereas Brotherhood, I'm sure you really fucking lay it on Lomachenko, and you believe all the Wilder excuses.
If you can't,
so it's fucking clear bias. There's no consistency.
If you can't prove these crazy accusations, you shouldn't say it, man. You shouldn't say it. What's wrong with him saying, "Look, I lost. I feel like there was some bullshit that night.
That's coming from recognized.
Bullshit that night. I want a third fight with him."
And that's recognized saying that, by the way.
And this is why I wanted to ask him too. Man. Do you believe in every one of the excuses? Because there's 7 or whatever the number is. So that means you have to have evidence for each one of those claims.
Yeah, you can't just throw out.
Is he going to come with 7 out of 7, or is he going to say, okay, I can prove these 6, but this one's a little shaky? Because that'll show right away that he just believes what they tell him. That's his mindset. He doesn't want to analyze. He just wants to believe.
Facts.
So start proving, Brotherhood. Let's talk Deontay Wilder. Start proving piece by piece. Give us the evidence.
He's gone.
Just a quick rundown.
No, there is none.
He's gone.
He's
But,
gone. The
I
reason
wanna
why
thank-
the reason why they're six.
You
The reason why they're six is because they need they need you to debunk each and every one of them because they keep running out of excuses. So it could probably go up to 10. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not.
But it's not our
I'm
job
gonna,
to debunk
yeah,
them.
I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it real. Brotherhood, come on here. Thought he had the answers and he got bodied. He got bodied, man. I mean, let's be real.
It's true. And
Guys, Jimmy, can I just read a super chat before? Just want to read a super chat quickly. Johnny's Fight Palace. Thank you, man, Johnny. He says Brotherhood needs surgery to remove the cluster of Wilder's cream from his throat.
Oh,
Okay,
come on,
that's
man.
disgusting. But thank you, Johnny, man. It's pretty. I mean, go ahead, Jimmy. You were saying something, Jimmy.
I'm just saying, like, you can't. And then the thing is, he calls me a propagandist. Okay, the thing is, what Bob is doing. Wilder's taking him to court. I mean, they're trying to go to court to say, blah blah blah. Bob's saying, here's the contract. I just repeated what Bob said. Obviously, he's not lying because it's in court. And when and he said it's going to get thrown out. Now, so if it gets thrown out, that means everything I said was right. Everything Fury's people saying it right. It's not. It's going to be boo. You watch the LDBC him. He won't call up and say, "Nah, you guys were right." It's just because that's not what it is. And I understand I might get worked up because I'm like, this is the Boxing Debate channel. I love it when somebody, listen, you don't have to have facts, but you should have at least credible evidence. But when you just block out anything, 5 excuses, blah, 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 and then and you say, okay, slow down. What are the excuses? And then he says, well, that don't matter. When he's finally back in the corner, he'll just say, whatever, the basis of the argument doesn't even matter. So, yeah, and again, and I just want to say it's frustrating because I come off like a fucking douchebag, right? But it's how it is, man. Anyways, but
it's just look, I don't mind it because the more people like Brotherhood speak, and I like Brotherhood because he calls in, but the more they make asses out, the more they speak, they make asses out of themselves. That's what they do. It's like, dude, look, how many fucking excuses? When something is the truth, right? You don't need to make up 6 reasons. It's just one shot deal. Here's the truth. Okay? What are you laughing at?
Dude, he tried. I mean,
What are you laughing at? Huh?
Mark Breland's career is destroyed. He destroyed Mark Breland's career. He'll never work as a trainer again. Who's going to go to him when his biggest client said he poisoned him?
Nah, he's going to work again. He's going to work again. They don't believe Wilder. He will. They don't Jimmy, they don't.
No, down there in Alabama, dude. I mean, think about it. That's in his neighborhood, right?
Does Breland live down there?
It's not like this gym's in.
Breland is living in Alabama?
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Does he live there or does he go there for camp? I know he's from New York, right? He's from New York.
He's originally from New York.
Pete, hold on.
I think his gym is down there.
Your mic is super loud.
I'll turn it down.
His throat.
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where Wilder. I mean, he's obviously used Breland as a scapegoat, so it'll be interesting to see how he performs in his next fight, whoever it's against. You know what I mean? Look, I think Breland did a half decent job with him, to be honest with you. I just don't. I think Wilder's the sort of guy. He's just uncoachable. It don't matter. You could be fucking Manuel Stewart, and you wouldn't do nothing with him. It's just that guy, man.
It's a crazy situation when he's like a villain now. Imagine he wins after talking all this shit. Usually when a guy shows meekness and humbleness like Joshua, then you win. You're kind of glorified for being like the nice guy. Like, yeah, but imagine this guy winning again. It's weird, man. I don't think it'll happen against top guys.
But I've seen this happen so many times with big punches. They get this aura about where they're indestructible. Mike Tyson was the same. But as soon as someone cracks them, they never get that back. And they sort of like mentally fold a lot of them. I mean, Tyson is a prime example. I mean, he folded a few times. I mean, he bit Holyfield's ear off in one fucking fight. That tells you all you need to know. So
the ending of Mike Tyson's career, Stu, was when he went to prison and he was 4 years inactive. You could see it.
Yeah.
The second he came back, he was off. Right. He was older. Yeah. Not that much older, but he was older, and he was like, you could see that his steps. He was a bit slow.
I just think that night, I think Buster Douglas gave people a blueprint on how to beat Tyson. I know Tyson was not his best. I mean, he spent more time fucking banging Japanese hookers than he did sparring. But
sideways vaginas.
Yeah, but look. At the end of the day, I still think a good puncher, a big guy, a good puncher who's throwing sharp, fast combinations was always going to be a problem for Tyson. You know, Tyson's always he's got to work his way inside.
He had to be perfect. Stu, I was saying this earlier. Mike Tyson, because of his size difference versus the guys of his time, he had to be perfect on that night.
That's right. And a lot of the time he was. I mean, look, Gustomato, Mike Tyson was perfect. But like I said, with punches, I think Wilder's the same. You just get this aura about you where you're indestructible, and you start to believe your own hype, and you think there's no. I mean, look, Wilder, he thought there's no man in this galaxy could beat him. Never mind this planet. You know what I mean? And
he was also a good boxer, though, too, Mike Tyson. But I think he really relied a lot on his legs too to squat down and get underneath where he
had
on the inside.
It was all feints and body movement to get inside.
Oh yeah, big time, rocking back and forth, and he would jump in with a fucking hook and destroy you. But listen, Stu, one of the things like with Wilder, and it gets brushed over. But and again, if he didn't make rap songs, spreading lie, and let's be honest, he defamed white people in his rap song, and the shit he said about him was a lie. We don't even have to get into the details, but I'm just saying it was a factual lie, the shit he said about white people. So he makes racial motivated rap songs, okay? And then he turns around and he denigrates 12 million of Europe's largest ethnic minority. Like, just call them fucking crooks. Everybody knows if they don't fucking rob you, basically said, then you're a sucker. I mean, now, and again, if he didn't make, like, till this day and out making those rap songs, it wouldn't even make it so just disingenuous and slimy that he would do that. And he got no pushback.
It's when Roy was bringing out, when Roy Jones was bringing out rap tunes. I mean, the cringe levels went skyrocketed, sort of thing. But you accepted it. It was Roy. He was a world class. He was beating people up at the time. But you know, Roy Jones was one pound for pound number one. But Wilder, right?
It was getting cringy. It was getting cringy, right?
Well, you see Danny Garcia. Yes. Danny Garcia never wins a big fight. You know, this guy's a specialist in failure. Let's be real. I mean, I don't mean to be cruel, but every time he's in a big fight with the belt, that guy is guaranteed to lose, mate. If you ever want to guarantee in boxing a big world title fight, guaranteed Danny Garcia will not win that fight. You can take that to the bank.
If you ever need a tomato can crush,
but you got him rapping. You got Broner. Broner can never win a big fight. I mean, Broner's the same as Danny Garcia. Loses every big fight he's in. I mean, this guy's a rapper. You got Wilder, who was fighting can after can, rapping. It's just a joke, man. I don't mind these athletes rapping when they've fucking achieved something. Do you know what I mean?
Hey guys, I just want to.
I don't think he was actually trying to do a rap career. He just put out a fucking rap song because of the Breonna Taylor. It was about that type of shit. It was just on his phone, like. But the fact that the shit he said, it was all based on race, and then to turn around and the next time you see him on his phone, he's denigrating, and it just bothers me that if you're gonna sit there and that's part of your gig now, your shtick is the fucking oppressed, marginalized black guy, and then turn around and just denigrate all gypsies was just terrible.
Dude, it's goofy as hell because he's not even a rapper and he's making a song about a subject. You know, he's going out of his element to do something very specific. Like that's something that if you're a musician, you do.
Exactly.
You know? He didn't dedicate a fight to Breonna Taylor. He did that's like him making a painting for Breonna Taylor. Yo, I made this painting. Like what? You ain't a painter.
Hey guys, I just want to quickly.
You can do whatever you want. It's freedom of speech. I mean, that's not even my knock on it.
Just quickly, super chat. TFM Boxing says Wilder versus Huey Fury is a 50-50 fight. So Wilder against Huey Fury is a 50-50. Probably, I wouldn't.
The thing with Huey Fury, he's
there's
crafty
two guys
enough.
in
No, but Huey Fury's crafty enough and sort of like defensive enough to just stay out the way from Wilder. I mean, sort of like run for 12 rounds.
Yeah, he might beat him.
I don't know. I don't see Huey Fury winning the fight because I think once Huey Fury lets his hands go, he's going to leave himself wide open to a big shot, and that's all she wrote. But look, I think Fury, he's just one of them guys that he's schooled in surviving. I just don't know. I don't think he's got the tools to go and win big fights.
It's his cousin Mike.
Even Parker. I mean, Parker. No one's ever beat Huey Fury up, but they never schooled him. But he just never does enough.
All right, another
Let me
super
ask you.
chat.
Okay, go ahead. Read that.
Yeah, quickly. Kenshiro, thank you for your contribution. He says, only rapping Deontay Wilder needs to do is wrap his career up. Oh, okay. The only rapping he needs to do is his career. Pretty clever. Thank you, man.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this: is there a clip in Wilder's career that you would like sit down and say, "Okay, I'm going to break this down to you," and this was a really technical, brilliant thing that he did. Or this was one really skilled thing that he did.
Remains to Vern.
Remains to.
I wouldn't say it was perfect, but it was pretty technical on his part.
Look, I think the thing with Wilder, he showed
yeah.
he showed glimpses that night with Stavern because I think he broke his hand, so he had to get beyond his boxing. He showed that he can actually box a little bit. All right, it wasn't Pernell Whitaker in there. Don't get me wrong, but it was still. He still showed that he had the basics. He could box a little bit, but I think he regressed from there. You know, he started just throwing. He could have built on that and started, improving stuff. And I think he would have been a lot better fighter for it. But he just got power happy. He thought all he had to do was just fucking land a big one, and it's going to be night. And most of the time it was because the guys he's fighting. It was like when he fought Ortiz and. He's just sitting there with his arm pulled back all night, waiting to land one. I mean, there was no boxing behind it. It's just, he sort of like the boxing went out the window.
Yeah, and you're saying because it read me the thought because you brought up how Tyson was technically perfect, and when he was with Customato, and it makes me think of the Reggie Gross knockout. That's my favorite knockout of his when he was doing all that fucking. Bobbing and weaving around fucking 7-8 punches, and then boom, he just lands a hook and knock. Like you see that, and you could show somebody that and break down the technique of what he's doing, and it's like, wow, that's marvelous.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite one was Trevor
Wilder's best performance is him showing that he has the basics. That's what you told me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with Tyson, my favorite KO was Trevor Burbett. I mean, he got three knockouts that night, didn't he? He hit Burbett once and got 3 knockouts. I mean, he was up and down, up and down. It was bizarre to watch.
Yeah, he's going into convulsions.
He actually did that same
with Mitch Blood Green. Yeah, right.
Yeah, because he saw him outside of New York City. Not a night. Tyson.
But Mitch Green, I mean, I was surprised Mitch Green went the distance with Tyson, man. It's very.
Well, think about Mitch Green had a lot of height and reach over Tyson, and not only that, he was a top-notch contender at that time.
Yeah, I mean, I know Tyson. Didn't Tyson break his jaw in a bar?
Well,
he broke his eye socket.
Tell Jimmy we can't hear you. Jimmy, we can't hear you, man. Jimmy, we can't hear you. It's very low.
Yeah,
very low.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's very low.
A little bit, very low.
Huh?
Yeah.
You guys
Mike
know
Tyson, Mitch Blood Green gave him a better fight in the ring than he did outside of it. That's for sure.
I think Tyson's the sort of guy that you just don't want to be fighting in the street, man.
Nah, you don't want to get hit bare-fisted with that fist, man.
It's just the thing is as well. He's just short and compact. He's just gonna. He's like a pit bull. I mean, let's be real. Boxing, it sort of hinders him a little bit because of the size of him. You can grab him and tie him up and stuff. And
I've met people like that, Stu, and I'm pretty sure you have. Those are dangerous dudes, man. Like when they get hit by bare fist. Yeah.
Man, sort of guy,
they'll break your face.
Hey, did you ever watch the series Power when he's in prison and he fucking caves that guy's skull in with a weight? Did you ever watch that?
No, I didn't see it. I never see it.
Tyson's the sort of guy to do that. If Tyson flipped on you, he'd cave your skull in.
Fuck yeah, man. He would, man.
Hey, you ever have 2 dogs fighting and you got to break them up and it's real vicious? That's the kind of fucking lock I would see Tyson on somebody. Like he's on you and you ain't getting him off.
Well, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Well, what happened that night with Mitch Green was outside of a man's habitat. It was like 3:00 in the morning because Tyson, being who he is, especially then, goes to show the difference in the icons of boxing stars now. He'd have to go to places in the middle of the night to shop. So they opened it up for him. He had to buy suits.
Harlem, right? He was in Harlem, too.
Yeah, exactly, in Harlem. And Mitch Green, he's
from Harlem.
Exactly, and he was out cruising around, and he went to the store, and he ran his mouth, and fucking Tyson caught him with a shot and shut his eye. So, he broke his eye socket. But he also, Tyson told Mickey the story about how he had a fucking I lost. That's why I heard about. He said it right there. He slapped that parking lot attendant in the head because he argued with his wife. His wife left ahead of him, and he saw a parking lot attendant coming out to her because it was like a colder night, probably not recognizing she was a movie star, whatever. But ran up to her, hey, Miss Gilroy, where's your car? And Mike, being lit, fucking angry, sees him running up to her. So Mike just runs up. I guess he says he just fucking opened and slapped the kid. And the way he said it, man, the kid did a fucking cartwheel.
I believe it too, man.
Right?
Yeah, what do you mean her car? It's my fucking car. I bought it. Fuck that shit.
Gave him $200,000 though. He said I went back next day, man. Hooker wrote a check for $200,000. He goes, that was an expensive lesson. And that was what got the kid. Then
that was nice to him. Shit, that was nice to him. I'll take a slap from Mike Tyson back then to get $200,000. Fuck it.
Right. Well, he signed a non-disclosure. He couldn't sue him or nothing. That was part of it. You know, he wouldn't.
Hey, I'll ask you guys on the panel quickly. What's your favourite Mike Tyson moment?
Knockout?
Anything. Favourite moment?
Oh yeah. There's quite a few. I have to think, man. Let me see.
Mine when he became the youngest heavyweight champion. And he turned and he looked at fucking and he held his hands out like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's just iconic. Sticks in my head.
Mine was the Bruce Helden knockout because I walked into the sports book and I picked the round. The first time I ever bet in my life, I picked the round and I picked Mike Tyson and I won. That was, I don't know if he took a dive or not. It was a grazing punch, but that's my greatest Mike Tyson moment.
He was scared of Mike. He was just waiting for Mike to hit him with a shot.
My favorite moment was watching Michael Spinks.
Oh yeah,
shitting his britches
live on TV.
What he did to Spinks was just child abuse.
He snatched Spinks' soul before a punch was even fired.
Yeah, that was
he was literally nervous.
Beating before the bell rung.
His legs were shaking.
Hey, Spinks looked like the mafia got hold of him. He was like
the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper.
Dude, in those socks, man. I'll never forget those socks.
He never, know something? He never fought again after that. He said as much. He said, "I fought Mike for the $13 million that they offered me."
Wow.
Oh, of course. He was a light heavyweight champion. He wasn't a true fucking.
But the way Spinks was coming in,
fucking moment.
Yeah, but the way Spinks was coming in, he was coming in the ring like, I ain't gonna get a chance to spend this.
Yeah, and that's part of the aura of when you someone like Mike Tyson, man. That shit hung on him before he was a pro. I remember they were talking about him at all the gyms in Lowell in the street and the talk, but it was the finals were coming down to Lowell. And he was coming down from Team Vermont. So that's why I was there that night. I came early. I never went to the gloves to catch the beginning fights. I was there that night because I wanted to see him. And he was 16 years old then. That's how much talk in the amateurs about him. It's punching power.
In New York, they have this metro tournament. It's like, meaning, the metro part of New York. You could be from Connecticut, Pennsylvania, or Jersey. So they said that Mike, right? I don't know if there's video of it. They said that Mike had a fight, like I guess back in the early 80s. He did that, and think about the headgear and the fucking gloves. They said he knocked a dude cold out. He was knocked out, like unconscious. Think about that.
Oh yeah, he did that a bunch of times. Knocked out fucking sparring partners, dude.
I remember Lennox Lewis.
No, in a tournament. Yeah.
I remember Lennox Lewis was saying, right, that because Lennox Lewis is so fucking laid back, chilled. He's got that Jamaican aura about him, and he's turned up to spar Tyson. He thinks it's just it's like a vacation, as you guys call it, just somewhere to just chill. You soon realised after about 30 seconds he's got this pit bull trying to kill him, take his head off, bust up his nose, and then he said in the second round, he looked at the corner in shock. He's like, what the fuck just happened, sort of thing. But then he got back on his boxing, and then he reckons he started doing well against Tyson. I've always thought this. I thought Lennox Lewis was the one guy that, even when Tyson was, I always thought Lennox Lewis had the style to beat Tyson. I think any era of Tyson, I think Lennox Lewis would have had the
given him problems. Yeah, he would have.
It's certain styles that fighters just can't beat, and that's facts. I mean, there's certain guys that just have there's certain guys that have just certain guys' numbers. Do you know what I
He
mean?
could
And
also have. He could also have hurt him like the 2 fights that he lost against Hasim Rahman and Oliver McCall at that different moment in time, possibly.
yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, when Lewis is in there with Tyson, he's not going to go in there in the shape he was against Hasim Rahman. That's for sure. And look, when he got hurt by McCall, premature stoppage if you ask me, but he was quite green at the time. He had some chump in his corner, Pepe Carrera, I think his name was. I mean, this guy was a clown. So
he was still green at that time when he got.
I'm talking about Manny Stewart, Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that Lennox Lewis always gives Mike Tyson problems. Not to say that Mike would have never had a shot. Trust me, if Mike Mike was super fast, the one thing Mike was good at was closing the distance, getting on the inside, doing it in angles. So if he could have done that against Lennox Lewis, Lewis could have got hurt. But to say that Mike would have just ran over him, nah, he would have not.
Let me ask this. Wait, we're talking styles and fights. One of the biggest what if fights, we always talk about Lennox Lewis versus Ikebe Ibuchi, right? That's always the what if.
Oh, that would have been a fucking.
But we never go to step further. Ikebe Ibuchi versus Mike Tyson.
Okay, styles matchup, right? Styles matchup. Look at Ikebe Ibuchi. He's a brawler, right?
Big brawler, though.
Big brawler, like an elite brawler, right?
Yeah.
You remember the fight with David Tua? He proved that. And you saw what happened when he fought Chris Bird. Chris Bird was trying to do the slick shit, but he was able to, because of his strength and Chris Bird's lack of size, he was able to close distance and start hitting him with big shots. I think that you gotta favor Lennox Lewis, but if he can make Lennox Lewis mix it up, he fucks Lennox Lewis up.
No, I'm talking Tyson. You mean Tyson?
No, Ikebe Ibuchi, Lennox Lewis.
Okay, we always talk about that one. No, I'm talking about Tyson Ibuchi.
Tyson is the best brawler ever. I think Tyson wins. Yeah, styles matchup, man, for me.
No, the size can't compensate at that point.
No, because Mike knocked out bigger. Look, the one thing that you got to take into consideration, it seems that Ikebe Ibuchi had a great chin.
Yeah,
but Mike is the kind of guy that, great chin or not, you keep getting hit by him, he's knocking you out.
Yeah, he hits you with a few, you start getting wobbly legged, and he'll keep coming at you, and the ref will stop.
Yeah, he's an explosive puncher. It's not a fight of attrition.
Listen, there's some guys you tell them. There's some guys you tell them you got to kill me to beat me, and they get intimidated. You tell that to Mike, that just motivates him. Yeah,
I think Mike. Do you know what Mike's weakness was though? Throughout his career, when you look at his career, I think mentally, I think he was a bit fragile. When things didn't go his way, he started getting frustrated. Game plans went out the window, and he just started swinging for the hills like a madman. And that's when he used to get caught. I mean, look, the Holyfield fight. I mean, he did that because he just couldn't beat up Holyfield at what he did best. Tyson was an inside brawler, and Holyfield was matching him and beating him at that as well. And I think I think that was a coward move what he did, and that's, like I said, mentally fragile. And that was his problem. I think.
Yeah, he was cooked though. Stu, he was cooked when he came out of prison in 1995.
Yeah,
he was done.
But let's be real. I think he was always a time bomb waiting to go off. I think Gus D'Amato was probably the one keeping him sort of level-headed.
Stu, that's exactly what I was going to say. He admitted that. Once Kevin Rooney left, even after Custard, at least he was still surrounded by a few guys. I mean, Teddy Atlas left because of what he did with Teddy's sister, but then Kevin Rooney was still there. But once he was gone, then it was different trainers all the time. He had his focus, and it got to the point when the Nation of Islam was telling him not to have anything to do with Customato's sister, who was like a mother to him, and that played on his psyche. So yeah, and then when he lost to Buster Douglas, that took a lot of that aura away from him, and that, like you said, beat Spinks. Spinks lost before he had no chance. He was scared shit coming into that.
Look, the thing is, like I said, with punches, you just see it time and time again, where big punches are knocking everyone out. As soon as someone sort of like puts a dent in them, they sort of like, they're never the same guy. And this is why I kept saying about Wilder. I see the same with him, and I think Mike was the same. Because let's be real, Mike was a phenomenon back in the 80s and the early 90s. I mean, this guy was probably the most famous boxer in my lifetime. I know you talk about Muhammad Ali. I wasn't around at Ali time, so I'm talking about my lifetime. I don't think there was a guy that was as popular, as big as Mike Tyson, man.
Agree with that.
Oh,
Stu.
absolutely. As far as boxing, it's not even a debate.
That's what I'm saying. It's just this guy was this guy had this aura about him. Look, because even my mum was always saying, I don't like Tyson. My mum doesn't like boxing. She's it's a bit like, but she says, I do like that Tyson though. He's an animal, him. Do you know what I mean? And that's what mum don't even know boxing, but she knows Tyson. Do you know what I mean? And that's the aura he had back in the 80s. I remember as a kid, everyone would say about Tyson, Tyson this, Tyson that. Tyson had this aura about him, and then when Buster Douglas broke it, I just don't think he ever got it back. You know what I mean? Let's be real. How long did it take you to get over the fact that Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson? It took me about a week.
Okay, I was a baby.
Gonzalo cried. Gonzalo cried. No, but guys,
well, man, I remember that. I was shocked, man. I just need to. He just beat the shit out of Mike Tyson. Now.
Yeah.
Hey,
when
Gonzalo.
He got back into the ring again, I forgot who he got in with. He knocked the dude out. The guy wasn't really much. Was it Alex Stewart or some shit like that? I forget the guy's name. But I saw that Mike still had the same kind of technique to bounce back from that. And then when I saw Buster Douglas get chin checked by Evander Holyfield, I was like, yeah, that's just a fluke, right? Like even I was a teenager back then, but I understood that that's just probably a fluke. But when he came out of jail, man, I saw the way he fought, and I was like, this dude, he lost it, man. He just lost it.
Guys, I want to read a super chat. Hold on. I need to read a super chat, man. I need to read a super chat. Jesus Christ.
Remember this? All I heard was, oh!
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
There's a bunch of that.
Hey, who was the referee? Hey, I think he smacked the referee in the UK. He comes to fight in the UK, didn't he? And fucking ended up hitting the referee twice.
Against Savarese, right?
Savarese.
That's right. Yeah.
He might have fought Clifford Etienne when he got out of jail. Clifford, I remember. I think
it's true what they say, though, isn't it? It's true what they say. I mean, fighting on anger is the worst thing you can do in a boxing ring.
Yeah,
it really is. It's all right when you're blowing away these bums. But when you're in there with the elite fighters,
well, Mike said it. Mike Tyson said it in his earlier career. He was demonstrating some of his boxing moves to like Arsenio Hall, I think it was. He was like, "You got somebody, some dude. I don't know if it was Arsenio Hall." And he was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You got to be as calm as possible." He goes, "You see, I don't have to look at your footwork. I just look at your shoulders. That's all I do is look at your shoulders."
Yeah, Leonard was the same. I mean, Ray Leonard will always say the reason he lost the first Duran fight. Because he let Duran get in his head, he got angry, and he went to war with Duran, and that's something you just don't do. When everyone
guys, I want to read a super chat right here. All right, guys, I need to read a super chat.
Person he was, and even out of
All
jail.
right.
Look, he probably was beforehand because
this is.
I heard Tyson say they asked him, "If you're a young fighter, what's the one quality you got to have to make it?" And he said it without hesitating. He said, "You got to want to hurt people." So you got to know that was his motivation early on to fight. He wanted to hurt people. So if
Mike Tyson would have been in jail,
you got issues. You know what I mean? You're a fragile person if you're going out like, I want to hurt people.
Think about the
really
first time I
make
saw
it your
him.
fucking trade.
Do you know if anyone's going to struggle if they get beat mentally? I think Teofimo could be one.
Yes, 100%, 100%.
Because he loves bullying, he loves showing off. You could tell that he takes pleasure. He's very prideful.
He's Puerto Rican.
Also, yeah.
He's hot blood.
Hey, listen.
They run hot blood.
The thing is though about taking a loss. These fighters, they all got to move on from taking a loss. They're all just processing it and moving forward. You got to put it behind you. It's just the difference is like, I don't think Wilder's trolling. I think he's believes what he's saying. In other words, he's going to his next fight thinking that he's just as powerful as he was in the fight before the Fury fight.
Oh, you're talking about Wilder.
Between the AJ fight, AJ took his loss. He still moved forward, no doubt about it. But he just took a lesson from it. That's what Wilder And I'm not knocking him personally. The guy is just honestly I think he's just being honest. When you put a microphone in his face or a camera or whatever,
he's just honest. He might, yeah.
But also, I think the mask off, you can understand what he's saying. He just,
Pete,
he's just telling you how he feels.
Pete, here's what happened because I know definitely for sure.
Wilder, you know what I'm saying, Jimmy? These guys get a microphone put in their face. No one's there to.
Wilder has taken L's
about taking a loss, or hey, listen, the next time you get interviewed,
Wilder has taken L's as an amateur, right? He's taken L's as an amateur and also in sparring, right? There's plenty of information of him getting beat up. So that's him losing is not the problem. The problem was he survived that and he started seeing this success that he had. So, and then when he's seeing all these people on YouTube showing him love and calling him like the greatest fighter ever, he doesn't even need to know how to box. He could hit you with one punch. He started believing that. So he digressed mentally.
That's
right?
fine.
I think,
I
think he started to pander to him.
Because he got paid.
That's what I'm saying. He's not having either. He doesn't have somebody there that's being honest with him, or he's not accepting it. One of the two.
No, he's not
accepting because his resume was so fucking horrible. Everybody fought. I mean, I've said it 100 times. Even when I could go play hockey with guys back in the day, and if they just maybe played high school, you know what I mean, to that level, and I'd play with them for a week. And if I went back to my regular team, everything was off because you just develop bad habits. And so he fought nobodies and fucking but think about it. Let's be honest, man. Let's cut the bullshit. The reason why it's gotten to this point, and it's the LDBC behind him, and that can't be no small thing, is they made it racial. That uniform was something to do, like his people said to, that movie about the African, that song he came out to. I mean, his people in the press were asking purposely, is this a racial thing? I mean, they tried to make it. Even one of the LDBC guys said it right after. He said, if this wasn't so racial, it wouldn't hurt so bad. So because of that, it wasn't just a boxer beat their boxer. It was a white gypsy beat the black.
It was a race war. It was a race
war.
It was a race war. Can I just quickly, because I've been trying to read this super chat. Kenshiro, thank you for your contribution. He says, what about Tyson versus George Foreman and Larry Holmes? Good questions. Thank you, man.
He's also in denial because he believes that he's anointed by God. He believes he's anointed by God, so he's kind of superstitious in a sense. God can help you, but you got to do your part too. It doesn't just happen like, I believe in God, I'm a prophet. Nah.
No, his aunt told him. Remember, that's what he said. My aunt told me I was, special or whatever he said. You can believe that. You can believe whatever the fuck you want.
I think he is. Listen, Jimmy. I think there is some specialness to Wilder. Like maybe out of his family, he's the most physically athletic one, or in his neighborhood. I believe that to be very true. But the problem is he never mentally developed to take. At least that's what it's showing right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a professional boxer and you're an ex-world champion,
you gotta know you're gonna take the L.
Well, if you're a boxer fighting at that level, you're special too. Every fighter at that level is special.
But it goes to show you, dude, it don't fucking matter who you are. You can be a heavyweight champion in the world and still have the fucking emotional stability of a toddler. Saying this grown ass man, but that's what the problem when you're surrounded by sycophants and yes men.
I got no problem with these guys. I mean, if you're gonna put a mic in their face, they're gonna answer the fucking question, I guess. But I don't care for the windmill of excuses. He is windmilling these excuses like he windmills his punches, just all kind of all over the place, Breland and everything else. But
Donald Trump, bro, I'm telling you.
Just concede defeat. It is what it is. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, the thing is that it's like he was sparring. Someone mentioned earlier about I know Brotherhood is calling attention to the fact that he didn't start boxing relatively until later in life, right? And you guys have said that before, and honestly, I wasn't really aware of that until I started talking to you guys that it mattered that much, when you start your career. But you're a sparring partner for Vladimir Klitschko, right? Tyson Fury is a sparring partner with Klitschko, am I right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, dude, I don't care who's telling you you're God or who's telling you. It's not the loss, right? It's in his wins. you could see he's vulnerable going backwards and he's vulnerable going forward. When he comes forward, he's got his fucking chin out. So it's like, well, goddamn. I mean,
look, he can't fight backwards. He can't fight backwards. You sort of like take his ammunition away when you push him back. You obviously got to be smart when you're coming inside. You can't just walk forward with your hands down, square on like Dominic Brazil, because you'll be sleeping quick. But you obviously got to be ready. But once you get inside, once you get inside Wilder's range, there's just nothing coming back. You've got to push him back. And I said that was the game.
He steps back with his front foot, Stu, which is terrible.
He just his balance, because his footwork and his balance is all wrong. He just struggles to get his feet in the right places at times. That's why he's struggling to land these certain shots. I mean, look, let's be real. When he's throwing the left hook, sorry, I call it the clothesline when he throws it. The left hook, it's just horrible to watch at times. Let's be real, it really is dreadful.
Coming forward too, though, right? I mean, we've seen him clipped coming forward too, not knocked out, but we've seen him hurt, wobbled, and clipped as he's coming forward. Irresponsible.
Eric Molina, right? Didn't Eric Molina catch him like
fucking Smoker? Fucking, Ortiz is whipping his fucking ass to the body. Fucking, he was laying hands on him. All I'm saying is though.
Yeah.
Even if everybody's telling you you're great, when you're sparring Vladimir, he could have been Klitschko all over again. It is boring, but Klitschko's not going to let you get inside of him. He's not going to let you get up inside of him. He's going to hold your ass.
I mean, look,
the heavyweight division, you're not throwing in the heavyweight division. You're not throwing the same amount of punches. You don't have to be a featherweight like Lomachenko. You can throw less punches and do a little less, but what you do it well. And he's making mistakes when he's going in for the kill. He's getting a little too wild.
Well, I've noticed Wilder. I've noticed one thing with Wilder. He's very jitterish. I mean, he reacts to feints.
Yes.
And the problem is, so how did he deal with that? I mean, I noticed that was a real problem for him. And the Arthur Spilker fight showed that. I mean, the mistakes he made in that fight. I mean, you could write a novel on it. I mean, but he obviously stopped that by not throwing anything at all, like with Ortiz. I mean, he wasn't reacting to feints because he just wasn't going to react anyway. He just waited for the perfect moment to land that right hand. It landed. That's all she wrote, sort of thing. But he just didn't. He hasn't progressed as a fighter for me. Every time I've watched him, he's sort of like gone backwards a little bit.
Especially when you don't recognize that you're doing anything wrong. He don't recognize that he's making no mistakes.
That's the point. But you're talking about Breland. I'm sure Breland at this point has it's a whole training camp. You're looking at a fight. And all this work has been done already. We've already prepared for all of this. Not that you don't need the trainer in the corner, but I'm saying, like, Stu brought up Sugar Hill. Listen, Sugar Hill, I was kind of like shitting on the fact that you can get a new trainer and change your style, but if Sugar Hill watched any of these prior fights from Wilder, like we all have, and said, look, maybe in the second round, I'm not saying you're going there like a maniac the entire fight, but in the second round, don't be afraid to rush him. And when he gets near the ropes and tries to circle, throw a hook, because every time you do it, he puts his hands forward. It happens. It's worth a shot, and he never recovered from it. Now, my point is, that's what I'm saying. He pulls back and he puts his hands forward. It's a natural reaction. It's how, what's his name? Garcia got clipped the other night by Campbell. But in a heavyweight fight, just like the Tyson and the Douglas fight, you know what I'm saying? Once one good shot starts a downhill slope, I mean, it's hard to recover from that. Now, I know
especially in the heavyweights, you're looking to destabilize your opponent by landing one hard shot. You know what's worse about the whole excuse making? Forget about that. It's cringy. You got to understand that he's not recognizing that he's made any mistakes. If you really look into that, that's what's really bad about it.
Dude, not only hasn't he made mistakes, he's saying, he got drugged. He got drugged. Let's just go down him. His corner drugged him. So he's saying his fucking own trainer drugged him, and then his opponent used a blackjack to beat his skull in. That's the only way they could stop him. Let's just be honest.
The downside is he's never going to improve. The upside for him, honestly, and the reason that Shelly Finker lets him probably just like encourages this shit, is that, look, he's going to fight the rest of his career. This knockout changes zero, nothing. It doesn't shorten his career whatsoever. He's going to fight whatever fights he would have fought normally had he kept going. And he's going to fight the same exact style against the same exact type of opponents. and
Just for a hell of a lot less
he's gonna
money.
go on like nothing ever happened. Huh?
Except for a hell of a lot less money.
Because he's mentally fragile, Rob. Because Wilder's mentally fragile. This defeat has took a lot out of him. I mean, like I made a joke about him a few months ago about him sitting in his car driving down the motorway, listening to "There's No Easy Way Out." You know what I mean? Thinking about the first fight.
That's a cool song. I remember that moment.
Yeah, I mean, look, this guy, you can tell he hasn't took this defeat well. And I think to put him in there with Fury again, the build up to that, just the camp, it might have been which sent him over the edge for me. I mean, there's no coincidence this guy kept quiet until the contract expired and then started talking again. It's that sort of thing, saving face to his fans so they've got something to defend.
Did he leave the block?
Clutching at straws.
Yeah, he
but
left.
Look, no,
yeah, I want to fight
him. At the end of the day, he never wanted that third fight. It's just mentally he was never in the right place.
Oh, he wanted that third fight, and he's delusional.
He didn't want that third fight, Pete. How can you wait for a contract to expire? How can you wait for a contract to expire?
Excuse me. No, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Okay, I understand. He'll fight Fury tomorrow. The problem, I looked into this, right? Because I'm hearing.
Now he knows he's not getting the fight. It's all well and good saying, "Yeah, I'll fight Fury tomorrow," knowing Fury's already said he's not going to fight you again. But my problem is, listen, when the contract was open, Fury's saying, where you at, Wilder? He was calling him out on Twitter, calling him out on videos. Wilder, he went missing, mate. Fucking Tony Spilotro disappearance.
Twice.
You know what I mean? And then the day, as soon as the contract expires, he pops up like a jack in the box, doesn't he, with his big mouth?
And then then they gave him a 90-day extension, and he did it again.
So
he did it
there was
twice.
There was a 30-day clause to declare you want the rematch. He did that. They set the fight for no later than, I think it was 90
early
days.
Summer.
So it worked out to be July.
July was the first day.
Live gate. The money wasn't right. The money wasn't right. Or an injury. An injury could have.
He had an injury.
Yeah, come on,
That's
Pete,
why they
man.
gave
Clutching
him-
at straws, Pete. Clutching at straws.
What's that?
Peter, it's smoke and mirrors, Pete. Just like his career, smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
What happened? He did get a 90-day
It's total
extension.
bullshit. It's total fucking bullshit. Is what I'm trying to say. He's full of shit. They blew the deadline knowingly, and they want Wilder Fury to wait around for him, and he's going to go on and fight AJ like he should. That's the way it works. You got knocked the fuck out. Take a tune-up fight.
They want some step aside.
Can we say the facts?
They want some step aside money.
And this is
wants
exactly,
money, side money. Yeah.
This is what it comes down to too.
He should be fighting Dillian White, right? Dillian White is a perfect fight for him. He's coming off a knockout himself, so that would have been a perfect fight for the pair of them. That would have told us where Wilder is, because if Wilder can't beat Dillian White, he can forget the other guys.
He was scared to face him before he had lost. Before he got knocked out, he was scared to fight him. Maybe he wants to fight him now.
Well, listen. Though, is that why should he have to fight him 3 times in a row? That's my point to Wilder. Is like
exactly.
A trilogy, there's some good trilogies out there, but how many of them are consecutive? Why the fuck should he stop everything because you want to wait for a live gate or whatever the fuck you want? Just tune up, go get pregnant, whatever the fuck you want to do. Go tune up, have a fight. Let him handle it with AJ.
Fury.
The biggest money fight.
AJ, yeah.
You'll get your third fight. They're just fucking going ape shit.
I mean, look, who wants to see that third fight? I mean, look, the media, you've only got to look at the American media after the second fight. I mean, none of them were calling for it. When the media's got no heart in this fight, it's not going to make much money. Look, that second fight, the media got behind it. It was a massive, and I thought the American media did a great job building that fight, and they couldn't have done a better
Someone
job.
build a house.
Yeah, it was just a great build. I thought that it was perfect. But listen, they're not going to get behind it this time round. How can you sell a fight?
No, you're right. It was a good.
What highlights? Hang on a second. What highlights? You know the box office advert. What highlights are you going to show from the second one for Wilder?
I am rising like the Phoenix bird on whatever.
That's back to the first fight.
And what you said, And what Pete said is true too. Like, it doesn't get talked about because they just won't talk about it, especially the PBC. But let's be honest, the reason why Wilder was probably told by Al Heyman, and I'm sure Bob Arum was pushing this you to be a dick. Who's building something? Is somebody building like a doghouse back there?
Yeah, Pete, you need to mute your mic, man.
I'm building a house, but the phone's on my tablet's on mute right now.
No, somebody's like hammering something.
No,
But
I'm not working on
but what
it.
happened is during the COVID. So this is the situation. Al Heyman has no fucking dog in the fight, meaning he doesn't put his own money into any of this. He never has. He's always dependent on either investments or the fucking Showtime to back it. Nobody's there to back that fight, right? So there was Alan and Top Rank saying, okay, it's COVID, but this is the date it has to be. So Top Rank will put in the $20 million or whatever it takes to make it happen. That's our half. And Heyman, there was no money to be had. So that's the reason why they played the whole the injury, and then they let it skip again, because I'm sure Heyman was saying, listen, you're going to have to let that go to the main gate because I'm an advisor. You don't really have.
Oh, shit.
The government took Jimmy down.
I think the government took Jimmy down. Damn. The purge has happened.
Wilder
is. I think we got D Jeff on the line too.
Just straight white mouths in America getting rounded up as we speak. Jimmy's just been nabbed in it.
Yeah.
No, that's Shelly Finkel's army.
Bad
What up,
handling.
D Jeff?
What's up, fellas? What's good? What's good, everybody? Wilder is
what up, D?
Wilder is a product of. Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Wilder is a product of bad handling, fam. That's it.
Facts.
I mean,
Facts.
we could just say a whole bunch of shit. Wilder this, Wilder that. You know, it's deeper than Wilder. He's a product of bad handling. With the Finkels and the Heymans and Floyd probably dug in there. They just he allowed these guys to call all the shots blindly, and he followed along like an idiot, and this is where they got him.
And it's a shame because he's raw material, you know. It's like a waste of good raw material. He could have
You're breaking up, man.
You're
breaking up.
But you know what? They handled him pretty well, according to the fighter that he is. He's done greater than maybe that it was expected for him to do.
But this is what.
His title 10 times.
Hey, Deontay Wilder. Listen,
they should have brought him up the right way and put him in fights that fucking mattered. Stop worrying about if you lose or not.
He would have lost a long time ago.
Yeah, well,
I agree.
Hold on very quick. It doesn't matter if he would have lost a long time ago. What do we always sit up here and say? A loss ain't the end of the fucking world, and it can teach
not
you.
a loss like that. He would have never been
Gonzalo.
One at a time,
Y'all
guys.
got different opinions, fam. So that's your opinion. My opinion is, fuck the loss. Like, so we don't know if you lose and you gain from that, or if you lose and it fucks you up. We never got the indication from Wilder. Maybe earlier on, before he got this fucking I'm the king of the world fucking mentality and I got power. Maybe early on, if he'd have taken that loss before he got the riches, because remember, he came in this game for his daughter. So you don't know what his mindset would have been if he'd have taken that loss earlier before he got that money, Gonzalo.
Can I just say
Hold on for a second. Let me finish this. It could have driven him to want to be better. We don't fucking know, but his handlers did not.
No, guys, I haven't said anything in a long time. I just want to say quickly that I think we can expect Wilder to not improve at all, because he's been his career the whole time, never improving. And by the way, he lost the first Fury fight in the eyes of many, so that should have been a wake-up call for the guy. But what happened in the rematch? Absolutely nothing. He didn't change anything, so I don't really expect him to change anything for whatever comes in the future. That's just my opinion.
I think what D Jeff was saying is true. When he came in
the past
in the game, when he first came in, what he's saying is because he was fighting for his daughter. He even made comments like, I'll even settle for being like a journeyman. So maybe if he would have lost early in his career, it would have inspired him to pick up on his boxing skills.
But you know what? He was coddled. He never faced good fighters. That's the reason he wouldn't have improved. The first time he
No,
would have
that's-
stepped up and fought a fighter like he fought, he would have
That's
lost.
what D. Jeff
got
was
exposed.
saying. That's what D. Jeff was saying, Gonzalo.
Gonzalo,
That's
was
I'm
you
doubling
listening?
down
That's
on
what I
that.
said from the beginning, though, bro. It was a product of bad handling. That's what I said from the beginning. That's what I'm saying. Look, guys, come on now. Let's just be real about it. When you have a hunger, you just do things differently. Errol Spence even talked about it. He said, before I started getting all this money, I was hungry and everything. After the accident, the interview he did with Brian Costas, he said, but almost, that was a life-changing experience. It brought that desire, that hunger back, because it let me know that I was taking things for granted. Well, Wilder fell in love with his power. It wasn't like he was always like, yeah, all I needed just 12 seconds and they need the whole 12 rounds. No, he fell in love with that, listening to his fucking fan base and everything. He fell in love with that power. But you take that loss early and you develop before you fall in love with that power. We could have seen a difference. That's all I'm saying, Gonzalo. I'm not saying it's cut.
I agree.
But what am I saying? It's all right. Say what you want to say. I don't care, bro. I listen to you.
Speak up.
Yeah, it's all
Hey,
right.
listen to this. You know what the thing is though, D, is here's two things. Number one, I hear what you're saying. He's like getting high on his own supply with his hype fans are hyping him up and he's eating it up. I get it, right? But it's Breland. You know goddamn good and well that Breland has tried, or somebody, but definitely Breland has tried to speak to him and explain that forget about taking the loss. Even in your wins, you're showing vulnerabilities that the fucking world can see. In other words, there's a Sugar Hill out there. Someone's going to watch tape and understand that you're chinny coming backwards and going forward. You know what I'm saying? So your judgment of range, we got a whole training camp to work on this, right? Let's work on it. So the guy won't take instruction. And this loss means mentally nothing to the guy. He fucking he's damn near gotten clipped the same way in a million other fights.
The thing is, though, the thing is, this is a problem with Wilder. You can talk about him improving. You've got to have basic fundamentals as a fighter to teach this guy. I mean, if you can't get the fundamentals right, then what is the point? I mean, this is the thing with Wilder. I agree with D. By the way, I said it earlier. Just got power happy. He just all game plans went out the window. There was just no method behind his work. There was no thinking behind his work. It was just pull your right arm back and wait for a moment to land it. And that it just look. But the thing is, it's one of these, D. Mentally, I mean, I'm not sure if this guy could bounce back from a defeat any period of his career because he's mentally fragile. You've only got to see how he's behaved after the defeat. I mean, let's be real. The first fight, that knockdown sort of gave him a bit of hope. But it just, sort of thought, yeah, well, I can knock this guy out if I land. But it's like I said, it's still with this. I think his team's done a great job with him. The amount of money Wilder's made with so limited skills, and I think they've done a very good job with him. But as this guy improving as a fighter, you've got to have the fundamentals first, and he just doesn't have them.
And money changes people
Stu,
too.
You know what it is? Thank you. I was about to say that. I was about to allude to that too. Stu, you know what it is, and I'm gonna use this analogy because I remember hearing you say you're a businessman, and likewise, right? So you know how you have these people, Stu, that pretty much their family or whatever give them the easy road to going into business, and they're winning, and then they spread their wings and they get that first, you know how business goes, they get that first fucking obstacle and they lose, and then they want to go blow their goddamn brains out, right? Because they never took that loss. Their family never allowed them to take that loss, to face that obstacle. And what I'm saying about Wilder, even with Breland, when Breland came along, he didn't take that loss. The dude had to take that loss early to know what it is to lose. He never knew. And it's just like anybody else who's used to winning. When they finally lose, sometimes they don't know how to handle it. But if they'd have faced that adversity earlier, maybe
but the thing is, it would have been a hard sell, dude. Deontay Wilder would have been a very hard sell if he had been beat by one of them bums that he was fighting. Come on, man.
Also,
take one early.
But D, just because you lose doesn't mean that you always improve. There's a lot of fighters that lose and keep on losing, right?
Yeah,
if
he
would
didn't
have
have to
decided to improve, whether winning or losing, if he didn't decide to improve, he wouldn't have got better.
Well, I agree with that, Gonzalo. That's why I said it's not set in stone. I just said that's another idea, and like even with what Stu's saying is, the mentality of it all. Again, man, when you got a hungry guy, that mentality is to achieve. Sometimes they push through. When you get spoiled, like Hagler said, you sleeping in silk sheets. That changes the fucking mentality, fam. It changes the mentality.
He's
You
a
don't
hungry
know.
guy. He's a hungry guy. No, Andy.
Yeah, he was too hungry. That's why the fucker didn't win the second fight.
But this is where we are with Wilder, right? Hang on a sec. This is where we are with Wilder, right? Wilder spent quite a lot of camps in there with Klitschko. Now, what did he learn? No, honestly, say what you like about Vladimir.
Obviously nothing. Yeah, obviously
What
nothing.
did that guy? What did he go and learn from all that time in the Klitschko camp? He learned nothing. When Fury learned something, Joshua came back, all took something in and brought it back. Wilder brought nothing back from that camp. I mean, let's be real.
That was my point saying that earlier.
Wilder,
He's been
look. The thing is, he isn't a thinking fighter. I think you could put information Wilder's way, and as soon as he's in there, he's forgot about it, and it's just back to the fucking what he knows best, landing that right hand. And
I tell you what Stu just said.
Maybe they thought he was a horse when he was a fucking jackass. You know what I mean?
Listen, that was my point earlier. He's just not going to accept any kind of instruction or advice, anything real. Between Breland explaining it to him, watching films of his prior victories, not losses, victories, and being in the same ring. You guys were talking earlier about he could have been Lennox Lewis, that kind of style. He could have been Vladimir, man. He could have been 1-2. And if somebody gets inside of you, clinch. And he could have still just relied on his right hand and just been Vladimir, same frame, same height, same skinny legs. I mean, shit. But again, the guy's. If it had never been explained to him, I understand. But it's been explained to him in many different ways, many different times. So that's what it is. I just don't understand why they want to rush him back in so fast to get
The thing is that we gave this guy so much airtime, man. And look, we find ourselves repeating ourselves quite a lot with this guy because there's never any improvements with him, sort of thing. We've been saying the same thing for years. I mean, look, I went on the Boxing Voice years ago. I used to get stick for it. I was saying this guy is useless. He's just got a big right hand, and everyone was calling me a fucking UK bum and all sorts, But they just because I saw it years ago. I mean, look, even when he come over and fought Audley Harrison, I mean, the biggest fraud to ever grace a British boxing ring. How that guy won a gold medal, I mean, I still don't know to this day. I mean, you can only imagine the talent that was there in that Olympic Games. But this guy, even when he came over and fought Audley, I mean, he knocked Audley out, but he was swinging for the hills. He actually swung and span around fucking 90 degrees. I mean, come on, man. When he missed, I mean, look, the guy was all over the place. I mean, and you just saw he had about 20. He had about 20 odd fights.
That's boxing at its finest.
Stu, what's your favorite nickname for Audley Harrison? Is it A Farce, Broadly Harrison, Fraudly Harrison, A Fraud?
Well, it's got to be Fraudly Harrison because the guy. I mean, this guy conned a living out of boxing. But there's no better people to con than the British. I mean, we are mugs of the highest order. I mean, put a donkey in front of us and we'll back it.
Hey,
but
guys.
I mean, this guy. This guy. I mean, I remember when he fought David Hay. I mean, I tell you what, he's a good talker. I mean, he should be a politician. If he went to America, he'd be president because he could talk his way into the top. He convinced half the country that this guy had a chance against David Hay. Even my brother goes, "Yeah, I'm going with Audley." I'm like, Lee, this guy's going to get knocked the fuck out quick. This guy's useless. I mean, look what happened. I mean, thanks to Audley Harrison and David Hay, Sky pulled out of Sky Box Office Boxing for like years. They pulled out.
Audrey Harrison.
Well, just to put what Pete said, you said you learned recently that learning to box young. I can't put enough stress on that too, because when you start young, it's one of the sports you have to. Because fighting, right? You're in there, and right? They're missing by millimeters some of these punches, and it's not because they're missing as much as people. It's just that last second moving. You learn your timing, but what happens becomes second nature. You don't think about it. You're doing it. You're catching yourself because you see guys knocked out on their feet. And I don't know if you've ever been in, and you get like rung. It's hard, and to still be able to, because that's just second nature doing it. And if you start boxing in your late, or I think it was early 20s, that's like he didn't get all his fundamentals. He doesn't know how to set traps. Like there's so many things when you watch Wilder fight. And it was just the oversized people. I mean, his frame and his length and his power. He has God-given, crackling power. But his fundamentals are so horrible, man. There's nothing any trainer's going to be able to do with him now because A, he fell in love with his power, and the money changes people, man. You suddenly think of yourself different. Now, that's a trainer, man. I showed, remember, I'm motherfucker. I showed up in the Ferrari. You're in the Toyota. Shut up. You just get that, even if they're not saying it.
Obviously, yeah.
You know what I'm saying, dude? It's crazy, man. Money changes people.
There's a guy in the chat saying we don't know shit about boxing because he's on about 11 title defenses, Olympic bronze medal. Look, in the Olympics, you get a bronze medal for losing. I mean, let's be real. You don't even have to fight for the bronze medal. You lose, and you just get one given to you. You don't even have to fight for it.
And he probably wasn't listening to
not just that. Hang on, man. Let's go for them them title defenses. I mean, it's embarrassing. So I think we do know boxing. This is why we're telling it how it is. I mean, don't be fooled by what Wilder and his team and his fanboys.
And it's a fact, dude. He's got the worst three. Well, Sue, he's got the worst 3-year resume of any heavyweight champion who held the WBC, which for time immemorial was always the most respected belt. But he has the worst resume. Yes.
Still a franchise champ. Watch your mouth. Still a franchise champ.
Something I have to mention for Deontay Wilder to be able to have good balance and show us good coordination. It's gonna be extra difficult because he is 6'7". He's tall and gangly. Yeah, it's gonna be a little extra harder for a guy that size to achieve that. But that's why he would have had to dedicate himself from an early age and work on those specifics to be that guy.
Look,
to work on that is just a little harder.
Look, a guy with them sort of arms and them attributes, Wilder, right? You've only got to watch Klitschko, right? Now he hasn't got the best foot, but he's a master at judging the distance. And look, he hasn't got the best chin either, but he's always hard to hit clean because he judges the distance. He's in and he's out, and he hasn't got the best feet. Do you know what I mean? So them sort of things there. I mean, look, as a bit of an analogy, when Clubber Lang whooped Rocky and Apollo took him to the camp. What's the first thing he worked on with Rocky? Was his footwork. That's the first thing you're fucking doing. You sort of learn the footwork before you try and teach other stuff because you got to have your feet in the right places. And
have you ever seen?
It's all good trying to teach Wilder how to throw these shots and how to do these moves. But if he hasn't got the right footwork, can't get his feet in the right place.
Did you guys know the fucking Marvelous Hagler? Marvin, he used to do fucking take ballerina classes like ballet. He used to go regularly.
So did
Klitschko.
I got a photo of him doing it. I got a photo of him doing ballet.
Jimmy didn't.
Patricelli's nephew.
I think one of the Klitschko's also did the same thing though.
Yeah, no, who started it? Believe it or not, was
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Arnold Schwarzenegger apparently did that as well, huh?
What's that?
Schwarzenegger, when he was doing that Mr. Olympia shit, apparently he also
yeah, exactly, for balance and just to learn, because it's the art of moving the body, and that's why he did it. He learned his moves. But it was Sugar Ray Robinson who described it the best. He said, "This is all it is. A boxing match is a dance. It's a violent, rhythmic dance, and the fucking movement.
I agree with that.
It's all timing, dude. Dude, I can't stress enough. When I box to this day, I always keep the same beat in my head. It's crazy. It always kind of goes, and you're trying to work it. But that's what I am so impressed with Lomachenko, and that's why a lot of these people who hate Lomachenko don't know the really nuances of boxing. So there's a lot of little things he does that if you're not really familiar, you would say, what does he do good? What is he doing? But when you're in there and he's making people tired and just standing almost in front of him and they can't hit him, it's because of the things he's doing. He's changing his timing and his movement.
Exactly. All the great fighters in history, all of them have got all of them have got rhythm about their work. When you look at Ray Leonard and Larry Holmes and people like all the best fighters, even Tyson in his prime, there's all rhythm with his work as well. And it's like a dance. You know what I mean? If you start throwing all stiff and robotic, them shots are not going to cause as much damage as a flowing shot with rhythm and speed. Do you know what I mean? Speed kills, as I say. Do you know what I mean? So look, that's the problem with a lot of fighters. Very robot. I think that's Bruno's problem back in the day when he had all them killers in the 90s. He was just too stiff and too robotic.
But you know what? Deontay Wilder likes to dance. He was twerking on camera, so
Yeah,
maybe
right,
he's
exactly.
got boxing skills. But he's not.
Yeah, maybe.
He doesn't have that good instinct to finish. He gets wild when he tries to go for the kill. Also.
Yeah, but when you're twerking, you leave yourself square on, don't you?
You leave yourself open from the back.
What the fuck's going on?
I think he.
No, did we lose somebody?
His punches. He got killer instinct, but he gets just a little wild, little too.
That's his emotions getting the best of him. He gets all psyched up.
Yeah, I don't want to shit on the guy, but too much. But I don't give a shit at the out of the ring stuff. I want to kill a guy. Listen, both of these guys in there are going full speed. I don't.
I mean,
if you don't go full speed, it's some. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
No, he knows how to twerk, and he gets a little wild. If if he misses widely and he turns around, he's just open from the back.
Hagler called him and he said, take up dance, and he goes, all right, pick his shirt off and start twerking. And here's kind of how he fights too. Fresh, like straight on, just chin out, arms down. That's kind of how he fights. But look, the problem, I guess the high side and the low side is that I know he started late and I know he didn't, but the fact is that not one single thing has changed and or improved his entire career, even his wins. That he was still in jeopardy in all those fights.
Starting late.
Yeah, I don't believe in. I believe in that, but I also think that as a heavyweight. Where's the what?
All right, we lost.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, after 30 fights, you should be. I mean, even 30 fights, I'll be kind to him. You've got to be learning something. I mean, this. I'm not having it. It's he started late. I mean, come on, man.
I mean,
what are you saying, Stu? He twerks and he leaves himself open from the back. What's that all about?
He said he squares himself off when he twerks.
Yeah, when he's twerking, he's giving up his height, isn't he?
Hey guys,
I'm just saying, like as a heavyweight, I don't need to be like
guys.
footwork and.
There's this.
God damn, man.
No, but you don't.
Right, hold on. Can you hear my voice? Because I need to say something. Hello.
No one's expecting. No one's expecting. Hang on a sec. No one's
I have to say something, man. Jesus Christ, I haven't said anything. Guys, when you hear my voice, which you rarely do, please just let me say something.
I can't even hear you, Butcher, man. You can't just interrupt in between a conversation. Come on, man.
My king.
I can and I will.
Sorry, Butcher. It's your show. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, look at Stu here. No, guys.
Taking over.
All right, hold on. Jesus Christ.
Someone's got to take over around here, isn't they, Butcher?
Yeah. All right, please. There's this guy called Mike from Boston who's been waiting for a long time. So, Mike, are you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here. What's going on?
Go ahead, jump in.
Yeah, man, I just was going to say, based on what you guys are talking about, I think the one thing that we have to remember with Wilder, and I think that this is what I've gathered after watching him, I don't think he has the talent. He's not one of those guys, like, the rest of the boxers that we see on a regular basis are extremely talented fighters. They're extremely talented at learning the craft. Wilder doesn't really have that talent to pick up technique the way that these other guys do. He had that incredible right hand, but I think he was handicapped in the fact that he's just not a talented fighter. That's just the bottom line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, athleticism.
Bullshit.
Athleticism is what's got him so far because his speed. Look, when he throws that right hand, it's got a lot of speed. It's got a lot of venom behind it. So that's athleticism. But look, the rest is just like you said. He's not a natural boxer, and that's why he's struggling when he's going to fight the big top guys. He will always struggle.
When did he start boxing again? Or was he like a football
About 2
player
years
first,
ago.
and he's
18, 20, around there.
he switched over, right?
Yeah, he used to play basketball and football.
That's not too bad of a start, though. Then
That's why his arms are fucked up because he's throwing with the wrong technique and everything. You know what I mean? He's not a boxer. He's not a talented guy. He's just a guy with power and he's athletic, like Stu said.
That's what I was talking about
that athletic, to be honest with
D. Jefferson, about the killer instinct. To be a killer, you gotta hit the target. If not, you're not a killer. Right?
Yeah, I feel you, Gonzalo.
Hey, you know what they look? You know what they say though.
Hearing Pete with these zingers,
Go ahead.
like people are talking, you just hear Pete with these one word is bang bang. Am I the only one hearing him saying that shit?
Yeah,
That was
that's
make it more epic.
No, man, it's been fucking.
That's Gonzalo.
Hey, but think of it like this, right? Who I heard someone say it's like, if you're a coach, you'd rather have somebody with raw ability and no talent than somebody who's got talent and no raw ability, because you can coach talent into somebody. So that's like there is a lot of fault at Wilder's trainers, regardless of his own shortcomings.
It depends on the level. At that level, you need both. Unfortunately, for
and you could tell he didn't have the right support
It
system.
depends on potential too, bro. It depends on potential too, because certain sports ain't for certain athletic guys. Like some guys, like okay, so I had this kid that I went to school with who was like 6'8", and he sucked balls at basketball. He couldn't play. He couldn't get it. This motherfucker was beasting at volleyball. And it's a different sport. But he was all over the
That was me in gym class. I was mad good at volleyball too.
Yeah, I mean, in basketball, he was a bust. He couldn't play basketball. So maybe boxing just won't for Wilder. The coordination just won't there for boxing. But maybe that's it.
And you can be a good athlete too, but I mean, you got to be able to. It's still at the end of the day a fight. Someone's trying to hit you and shit. But my grandfather, he was a trainer for years, and he used to always say, what two things would you take if there was a couple of? And he used to always say, he would ask the kid, "Can you dance?" Because a lot of white kids, lower back then, especially in the 50s, and a lot of them had no rhythm, and it was just sock. And actually, he had the first black kid who won the Golden Gloves from Lowell. He actually lived with my grandfather. His father had problems, and he moved in with my granddad. I know I'm off base, but he lived with went through college. He ended up becoming a chief of the Chelmsford Police. He just died a few years ago. So he was like my uncle. But he was a chip. But he would always say, rhythm and a little athleticism. If they have a little rhythm, a little athleticism, again, if they could take a shot, that's all you need. That's all you need.
I think that's squashed now. That what white fighters have got no rhythm. I think we've seen recently when you still see some of the fighters around. I mean,
back in the day,
even like Lomachenko speaks to himself.
Mashed potato.
Tyson Fury, but even Billy Joe Saunders. Say what you like about that guy, but the guy, his footwork and his rhythm. I mean,
did you ever see Billy Joe Sanders dance? I saw him on a wedding video.
Yeah, world class,
he dance like a motherfucker.
Like I said, I think it's just it's a sort of thing that they used to use back in America, isn't it? Because Americans, white fighters are known as brawlers, aren't they? When you look at the Dempseys, the Marcianos, and there was always brawlers. So it's a myth because there's a lot of actually, especially the old Soviet Union. I mean, you got to remember during these periods, a lot of the top fighters in Europe were under communist rule, so they never really fought in the pros, and they had some world class amateurs. The Soviet Union, some guys that could have gone on and competed with America's finest. Do you know what I mean? Let's not pretend that. So there's a lot of these greats of our eras. You can't forget when you take away the whole Soviet Union away from being able to, and even Cuba as well. Look at the talent.
Stevenson in the 1970s.
Yeah,
Yo, when this little kid came up to Jimmy's grandfather, he'd be like, "Do the mashed potato for me." No, fuck you, get out of here, kid. This kid's there. But I tell you this. With regard to man, I'm watching some of this sparring footage with Tyson. Jimmy mentioned, his grandfather taking the kid in, and I think Tyson going away to the middle of nowhere and just concentrating on you get through a little better to a guy like that, rather than
Saved his life.
training in your hometown and same distraction, same wife bitching at you and everything else, and your friends. It's like Hagler, he just would isolate himself, and Wilder never did that either. So it's just it is what it is.
Man. Rocky went to the cabin, son. Rocky. He went to the cabin. He was chopping the wood. Beat Drago's ass.
Drago.
Some of the sparring footage of Tyson is better than actual fights today. If you know what I'm saying. Like these guys are fucking teeing off on each other. Somebody almost got knocked out, and Customato goes, all right, stop it.
Well, he would tell Mike, and he would say that. He would actually, and a psychologist would tell him today that he was really fucked up for doing it. He would actually tell Mike to go back into his childhood and fucking work on the shit that made him angry.
I agree, man.
That's why I say Customato was dangerous, bro. He was a dangerous.
He was a psychologist for real, bro.
But he would fucking.
Listen,
but
you
you
about
can't
it,
go halfway when Mike spars. That's why he used to knock so many dudes out, because his style, you can't do it halfway.
Dude, and think about this, be real. Customato was feeding Mike roids with his porridge. I mean, at an early age. I mean, let's not forget that. I mean, Mike Tyson. This is why he ended up becoming a fucking animal.
I mean, look at the guy he was fighting.
The guy was roided up from an early age.
Well, hey, Stu, I just want to address maybe when he first started getting some money after turn pro, because when Mike first went up to Vermont to live with him, they were kind of financially in hardship, the Customatos, and steroids back then. First off, they were rare, and they were super expensive. Wicked expensive. So it'd be hard for me to see like where would he even get the money, and it worked. I mean, it was in.
Yeah, maybe look, maybe the early days, maybe not. But don't tell me, please, Jimmy. Like Customato had no idea. Mike Tyson was. Look, I mean, it sort of showed the way he started to fill out quick. I mean, look, you guys know more about steroids than me, but I know enough to know that Mike was abusing them for many years, and I think that's what was his problem in the latter years of his life. I think it sort of affected him.
The only thing he was abusing. That motherfucker was sniffing coke and all kind of shit.
Yeah, dude. Okay, he would drop acid, dude. He would do all kinds of drugs. I saw him.
Hell yeah, Mike was getting bent.
When I saw him when he was 16 years old, he was a man-child. Like it was like just even his frame, dude, his neck. Like that's one thing steroids doesn't usually affect is your neck and your calves and a couple other muscle parts, but his neck, dude, it like stuck.
Hey, do you know the thing is, if Mike didn't do steroids, if Mike didn't do steroids, Mike wouldn't have made the heavyweight limit. I don't think. Look how small Mike is when he's not pumped up.
You know what? He might have. We discussed the steroids before. It is what it is. I don't think Cuss had a Vilodeca. I don't think he gave him a Vilodeca after dinner. But you turn him over to a trainer or some shit. But even with all that and the personal problems and the upbringing, the fucked up childhood, he had the ability, and he took instruction. I mean, he wasn't fighting the peekaboo when he was in Bed-Stuy, was he? I mean, that's something you have to fucking train for hours and hours.
Steroids don't make you a world-class fighter. I know that. You've still got to be a talent. It's like John Jones. He always gets caught, but John Jones is still the best without steroids. I don't know why he takes them. You can just see talent. You've got to have talent. Any old man could take roids. It don't mean they can fight. So I get that, but I still think that he was on a lot, and and that's probably
of course.
I would say, Stu, I would say by 85, that's when I think he started taking him heavy. I think he's by the fucking 1989, dude. He was so blown up. You could see it. I'm like, oh my god, this dude's taking so much testosterone.
Yeah, I mean, that's what do you think? But the thing is, Evander Holyfield was on him as well. I mean, look, Evander Holyfield in the second Tyson fight, he looked like he put on about 2 stone of muscle. Dude, I mean,
who was his best man, dude? Stu, think about it. Who was heavy? Holyfield's best man at his wedding. Fucking Lee Haney. 8-time Mr. Olympia.
The weightlifter, not the weightlifter, what's it called? Bodybuilder.
Mr. Olympia, dude, who has notorious connections for fucking, you know what I mean? That shit.
Do you know? I honestly believe that's what I think that's what helped Tyson Holyfield go toe to toe with Tyson. I just think he out-muscled Tyson. It looked like he out-roided Tyson that night.
Hey, this
Coin
is
the
the
term.
truth. I heard he was
Oh my
taking.
God.
I was told he was taking $15,000 worth of human growth hormone a week. Andy Holyfield going.
Well, he was in that Balco scheme. He was in that Balco thing.
Back then, back in the early 90s, it was actually you have to get growth hormone out of real cadavers. They didn't learn to synthesize it yet and make it, you know, fake. So it was so expensive. It was like $1,000 for 10cc bottle, and he was just pumping that shit. And growth hormone, you keep what you gain. The side effect is if you have any tumors or any cancer cells laying dormant, that's going to wake it up and grow it through your body like anything else. So that's the danger. But that's why his teeth spread apart. There's so many telltale signs of growth hormone abuse.
I'll tell you what was it? It was Teddy Atlas talking about. It was an old, not a 24/7, but it was like a documentary leading up to a Holyfield fight. It was when he was going from cruiserweight, moving up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, and they were just flat out asking. I think it was Teddy Atlas, or maybe it was his promoter. I can't remember which, but he's like, I don't fucking, he's working out. What do you want? What do you want from me? You'd be a fool not to fucking do whatever was available to you. But it, like you said, Stu, you don't just do a cycle all you want and get in there and think that's gonna. How many fucking hours did this guy spend training to Mike Tyson? Tremendous.
Steroids didn't give him that sort of head movement. I don't even think steroids give you power. You've either got power or you're not. You haven't
What
got
steroids
it.
does for you, Stu, to be honest, just to help them recover. That's it.
That's
the
it.
best thing that steroids
recovery.
It just basically it makes you recover quicker, so you got more pop behind your shots because you got more in the tank. I think Marquez proved that. I mean, the guy was out on his feet and then just got. It's like someone had popped him some of that Panama Lewis juice, and he fucking landed that shot on Pacquiao from nowhere. I mean, that's what roids do. Where you're getting your ass whooped and you can just come out with a shot like that. I mean, that's what it does for you. But
I say there's nothing wrong with it. That's why I say there's really nothing wrong
with
with it. The only thing that's wrong is when you take and you force the other guy not to. That's when I got a problem.
I'm gonna coin it right now. I'm gonna coin it right now. The cocktail, the Panama Lewis, is tequila and Red Bull.
Nice.
Yeah, no,
I heard Breland say, "Give me the bottle of the one I mixed," but that's not. That was fucked up.
And sweet and sour mix. That's the third ingredient.
You guys
Now it's a
remember
cocktail.
how Mike Tyson used to always wear? He would come out with just the fucking towel with a hole cut in it. This is when he was already champ, right? With black shorts, right? And no
Jack
socks. And
Dempsey,
black,
dude.
old school
Jack
shoes.
Dempsey, bro.
Exactly. The reason why he did that, listen, the best, if you were to get him alone and ask him what's your most fondest memories of watching your childhood, whatever, in Customato, it was when he first moved out of Vermont. He would stay up literally until the sun rose, fucking watching. I guess Customato had almost every professional fight. Yeah, exactly, on a projector, and he would have it on VCR, and Mike would study him and watch them over.
Yeah.
And his trunks were a throwback or an honor of those guys. I just wanted to throw that in it, don't.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, he's a historian, Mike is, man. He's a historian of the.
I'm Jack Dempsey. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm from their cloth.
I'm Alexander.
So, and imagine
Alexander.
how fortunate too. Imagine how fortunate that is too. That's like a rare situation. You to be that age and have like a library of fights to look at that in that day and age as well in the 80s. Nowadays, fighters nowadays don't have any excuses not to study film. You fucking go on YouTube. Tyson Fury could go on YouTube and study Wilder for their fucking fight if he needed to.
Customato and Mike Tyson. Customato for Mike Tyson was boxing and it saved his life. That's basically what it was.
And likewise too.
Yeah, but that's one thing about the old guy, the guys in history. You got to give credit for. A lot of them would get in the ring with a guy they've not seen fight before. Where would they get the footage from? It's not like YouTube. It's not like YouTube was around back then. You know what I mean? So obviously, if you're fighting Jack Johnson, you got a rough idea who you're coming across, and Dempsey and all them guys. But obviously, there'll be a lot of guys in there that they're turning up on the night. Don't even know who. I mean, that's a sleepless night. Knowing that you could be in there with Tyson or any, anyone. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine not knowing who you're fighting? I mean,
You just listen to the radio. You just listen to the radio broadcast. You just listen to the CBS Sports Radio, the AM broadcast. Ooh,
but you're still taking the word. Yeah,
you can never really judge a fighter by what the commentator says because you're just going by the word of a guy that don't really know
I'm
much
joking
about
around.
sport himself.
And imagine too if motherfucker starts like purposely corruptly feeding information. Oh yeah, he's 5 foot so and so. He's got rangy, good jab. You should get in there and try to do this.
Listen,
give him the wrong game plan.
Can you imagine just listening to Sky Sports commentary, man? You think the fucking
the zone.
Well,
I got the audio of the
you
zone
think
fight.
one guy was dominating when really, in reality, he's getting his ass whooped. I mean, that's how bad commentary can sound sometimes.
Yep.
So look, it's just one thought, really. I never really thought about it just to now that these guys, even though most of them would fight like for every 2 weeks, they'd be going in there not knowing who they could be. They could be up against a young lion coming through, knocking everyone out. They wouldn't even know.
Hey guys, can you hear me? I need to read a bunch of super chats that are accumulating over here. Slugger Sammy, who's Slugger Sam, says,
Slugger Sam.
Put some respect on Wilder name. He the truth with the one punch knockout. Waldo somewhere hiding in a cave from Wilder. The truth. Okay. Slugger Sam again. Thank you for your contribution. He says, y'all keep Cosdamilo's name out of y'all mouths. Okay.
Shut up, man.
Uncle Burnt apostrophe. I want to thank you for your.
The thing is with this show, we don't fanboy it. We keep it real, even though I respect Cosdamilo. Got to keep it real, ain't you? There's no way that guy didn't know or wasn't feeding Mike steroids from a young age. I'm not saying that's right. Or, that's not for me to say. But at the end of the day, he's still doing it. So everyone talks about this angel Gusta Martin. I mean, at the end of the day, man, he was feeding a young guy off the steroid.
All right. Okay. Uncle Burnt apostrophe. Thank you for your contribution. He says, some belated contributory shekels. Thank you for the shekels. Keep up the good work and degeneracy. All right.
Okay.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, wise words. Slugger Sam again. Slugger Sam again. See, he says, if I see Mike Tyson, I'm knocking his lights out. Okay, so he's obviously drunk.
Slugger Sam, I seen you in this sparring video here. We'll keep going. That was worth $2. Keep going.
I bet Slugger Sam fights like Malignaggi.
Worse. Fights worse. Slugger Sam, you got something to say to me? You say it to my face, Slugger Sam. That's all I got to say.
I think that if Recognize fought Slugger Sam, I mean, it'd be another Emil Griffith.
Okay, hold up. When did this? Whoa, hang on, easy with that. But also, when did this happen, man? I missed. I'm not a stepchild, but I missed the whole beef with Slugger Sam. He's not in the graces of the panel anymore. What happened?
Slugger Sam talks from the far.
For some of the viewers who may have missed as well.
He's good to go.
I never had a problem with Slugger Sam, did I? I did.
I mean, listen, if Slugger Sam gets on the panel, I mean, what has the standards become? I mean, there's fucking now. I mean, I thought there was some sort of standards to get on this panel. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah,
not really.
The process. No, there's not really any standards.
You got to earn the right. You got to earn your stripes. When you go in the army, you don't go straight to colonel, do you?
That's right.
You got to earn your stripes.
Start fucking grunt. I work my way up.
You're still working your way up.
Yeah, you're an apprentice at the moment.
You never know when it's coming with Recognize. That's what's so funny. You go to whole
2
show,
years,
and
man.
bang,
I've been here 2 years.
I learned from the best, Jimmy. That's all we used to do. All we used to do is snap on each other every day. That's all we did.
Absolutely.
Just out of nowhere. Yeah, you still are.
That's fun.
Oh man.
No, they'll still
too,
like a lot of that fucking white man is stiff shit too. a lot of that was a
Can
fucking
barely
tie
hear you.
over because if you look at the evolution of boxing, remember back when it started in your country, it was that fucking hands up in that weird position, and they'd literally
Like the
toe
Notre
the
Dame,
line.
like the
You
Notre
would have
Dame
to put
mascot. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to put your foot on the line, and you would toe the line, and then fucking start punching each other. You would basically punch into the face.
Yeah, but back then it was sort of like fighters. They went in there to put on a show. There was a lot more pressure on them back then to put on a show. I mean, come on, let's be real. There's not many fighters back then would have got away with stinking the joint out like Mayweather would or someone like that. You know.
Oh no, the crowd would beat you up.
Yeah, I mean, even Jack Johnson. I mean, even Jack Johnson fights. I mean, it's amazing he got away with all that holding. Really, I mean, because when you watch Jack Johnson fights, I know they're old clips, but the guy does a lot of holding, man. I'm surprised. But you don't mind when he's going 50 rounds in the heat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry, I just dropped in. It's Stu. Guys, well, a lot of the things he did also was fundamentally correct, like the Irish Notre Dame stance. Keeping your hand extended, your lead hand, gives you the ability to throw a quick jab. That's what Lennox tried to teach Wilder. To get off that lead left hook like Ryan Garcia. If you keep your lead hand extended like that, like the old timers used to, yeah, you can land that punch. A lot of the things the fighters are doing today by keeping their hands down, clowning around, trying to emulate other guys and stuff, that's not fundamentally correct. But I see what you're saying also, all those little things like holding and all the excessiveness, like, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, but he's got to set this big right hand up. It gets a bit predictable. I mean, he's not changing up the rhythm. He's not fainting. He's not setting shots up. It's just same old stuff. And look, he's got the power where he can punch through your guard and it's probably still drop you. But when you get to the world class level, they're seeing these shots. They're rolling out of there, and do you know what I mean? It's just he's got to have a game B. You know, you can't just rely on one shot. You got to be able to throw a left hook or a body shot or something, or even a nice stiff jab. I think his jab's not too bad at times. But he's just got to have a bit more to. You got to have a bit more to your arsenal than one shot, and this is the problem. Why this is why you'll always get found out.
And they were trying to put it over too, called that long telephone pole jab. The announcers try to make note of it. It's there.
Hey guys, I want to read another super chat from Sluggus Sammy. He says everyone on the panel is jealous of me. So there you have it.
I probably am. Sorry, man.
Visa. Imagine calling Visa and having to take the fraud lock off your credit card because you're peppering the show with $3. Like
it's like a sound serious. Do you really think so? Oh wow.
I'll say this.
What should we be jealous of? I'm not being a dick, but what is there to be jealous of?
He's gonna be joining us.
He's like a sound, man. Did you know? That's like a sound.
Yeah, he claims to be the made man, but he's more like that guy. Who's the guy in Goodfellas when he got shot in the foot? Spider.
Yeah.
That's like a son. Spider's like a son.
His whole
family
was rats. He would have grown up to be a rat.
Cutting water.
Goodfellas.
Don't make a fucking deal out of this, Spider.
We don't think I know how to
Make
dig
a
a
big
hole.
deal out of this spider, all right?
Yeah.
A cutty in water. You hear me ordered a cutty in water.
What, you got me on the
listen.
floor?
Status.
Fucking
dead. Exactly. The pay no mind list.
What do you want from
I
me?
say it to people all the time. They have no idea what they're talking
Pay
about.
no mindless kid.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you guys a question, man. I must say something here because I don't follow the news, like the fucking websites and shit. It gets a little fucking monotonous, but we get to talking about different topics, and then you go back and you look into it, like the contract thing with Fury and Wilder, for instance, right? You go back and look at it, you realize there's just nowhere to go with this. They're not going to any courtroom. They're just going to go to arbitration and get turned down. The point of the matter, though, is like going back in this Lomachenko thing. When I first heard that he said that it was rigged and all this, I'm like, that just didn't sound like fucking Lomachenko to me. I just don't understand how you can.
I want somebody to play that.
I did play it. All right, I'll do it.
I want to know if it's being translated the right way.
That's correct. Now,
I was going to say that a lot earlier.
For once in your life, you're halfway right. Now look, So I went back and I watched the interview because at first I thought it was Egis Klimas doing the translation, and I know it gets a little choppy sometimes because Egis he's not a translator. You know, he's not a professional translator, but you know what it was.
He speaks better
man?
English than they do. Yeah.
Well, you know what it was though. It was a Ukrainian interview. So that
Yeah,
the interviewer,
Snoquilla, it's a girl. It's a girl. I put up that interview on the Discord.
that was a girl. He had a shaved
Yeah,
fucking head. The one
I could give you the best interview ever where he talks everything according, and it says correctly, translated by a Ukrainian or Russian chick. Her name is Snoquilla. I'll post it on the Discord.
Okay. So the translator was okay. So there's a couple of guys that work here, Ukrainian guys. I was going to have them like translate it for me because the subtitles that are playing in the bottom of the screen, they do say fixed, and you know, but they also all the fucking syntax is completely off. It's talking about I don't know whose game it was, but it was somebody's game. Like in other words, it's like it's an inaccurate translation. I want to hear.
Yeah, they're like
that clicking's driving me.
It could be like like a figure of speech or a phrase or an idiom he's
it was
using
just
that
a bad
it doesn't
translation. It was like an auto translate.
That's what I'm.
An auto translate. On YouTube or Netflix, it doesn't come out right. It's just not. This was way off.
Yeah, but if he's saying a game, there's a game, like that implies something that he might not be implying.
I think personally he was talking about that one ref's card, and he can't wrap his mind. Being honest, right? Imagine doing that fight, and you come out and the ref says you didn't win one round. Come on, that's just. I mean, nobody, including Lopez's own fucking people, said that card was ridiculous. So being Lomachenko, right? You're proud. You're saying, man. So she came into this fight having no intention of giving me that win. Obviously.
No, actually, Jimmy, Junior Lopez said only one judge got it right.
Well, I know, but someone else said out of his fight when he was, I think, on the top 3 knockdown rule. You know, he agreed that card was absurd. You know what I mean? I'm sure he was just joking. If he thinks his son won all 12, he's
No. It was 11-1, and bro, no, he's not joking. He thinks that only judge that scored it 11-1 is the only judge that got it right.
Well, when Loma came out and said this whole shit, right? When he started complaining about the cards, initially I was a little annoyed, and I'm like, oh my god, he's making himself look bad. But then I started thinking, hey, the boxing public sees that it's wrong. The other side sees that it's wrong. Why does the fighter have to fucking take a dick in the ass and just take it, right? Why does he just got to fucking, okay, I got fucked on the cards. Why can't he publicly say, yeah, this is a little bullshit. I did better than 11-1. Come on.
What do you think Teofimo would have done?
They got to have an argument.
Hold on, real quick. What do you think Teofimo would have reacted if those scorecards were against him? How do you think he would have
lost his mind?
Of course. So it's like easy to say like what people would do, but when it's a fight that's pretty close,
dishes, man?
I don't know. When a fight is pretty close and it's scored in that direction, people be like, yo, I think there was some bullshit going on here. That's all.
Yeah. I just say, all right, look, if you got 3 judges, right? Now, one of the judges was like out of his mind, right? So, but the other 2 scorecards weren't like outlandish. That's the thing. Like, and then you look at all of these fights, like many fights. It's always a judge that's like nuts or off sometimes. That happens often.
The thing is that
one judge.
Something to that.
D, what about this? I suggested this a few months ago about changing it to 5 judges because one corrupt judge can be the difference in a fight. I mean, 5 is very hard to get.
There's finally something I agree with you on, Stu. There's finally something I agree with you on.
Oh, geez.
Finally, you make a lick of sense.
If you guys know what those fucking
swinging them wild.
Finally, you make a listen. You want to place fucking even better, Stu? It would be better if they had 10 judges. 10 judges. No more split decisions. You know what I'm saying?
No, we don't know what you're saying. Calm down.
Listen, recognize. You don't even know who DJ Cool Herc is. And you're from New York?
Let's go. I'm tired of your shit. Let's do this.
Oh shit.
Don't fuck up in there. Don't fuck up in there.
Wait,
Slugger.
Slugger. Are you in Toronto?
I'm tired of you.
Am I in Toronto?
Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what city I am in Ontario. If you tell me where you are in Quebec.
Montreal. You know I'm in Montreal, man.
Montreal? Are you kidding me, bro? That's gotta suck.
Yeah, you're from Toronto for sure. You're from Toronto, man.
No. I'm actually. I'll give you a hint. A little bit more southern than Toronto. Take a better guess.
No, it's next.
Well, listen. I got a bone to pick with Stu. Stu, why are you going in the comments talking about Slugger the snitch? Who you calling a snitch, dog? Huh?
War snitch.
Ooh. Listen, bro. You ever call a man a snitch and he ain't no snitch? You better back it up, cuz. You better back it up, cuz.
Hey, I bet you've got a wire on you. I bet you're wearing a wire now, aren't you?
Exactly. I don't want to talk to you. You're wearing a wire now.
Yo, recognize I sent
Listen,
you
Stu.
the best interview on the
Listen, Stu, let me get this right. You're named after a mouse, which is pretty much a rat, and you're trying to tell me that I'm the rat? I'm Slugger Sammy!
You know how Tyson used to watch like Floyd Patterson?
You'll be swimming with the fishes if you carry on, son.
Hey,
listen, man. What does slugger mean? What is the slugger part supposed to mean? Okay,
guys, we're all boxing fans. What does it mean when you say Joe Frazier's a slugger? What does it mean? Tell me the answer.
He knocks people out.
I mean, bro, you're asking me a question about what slugger means, and you call yourself a boxing fan? How are you a boxing fan? And you don't know what slugger means?
Yeah. I don't know who Joe
No,
is.
it's not. It's used in boxing. A slugger is somebody who
like have some beers, take a nice slug of beer, or
Nah.
Is that a revolution?
Sam, you're a nobody. I'll beat you like a redheaded
you ain't
stepchild.
nice,
That's what I would do to you.
Oh, man.
Guys, listen. I'm not. Listen, I never fought in the ring. That's correct. But on the streets, all right. I'm known, man. I'm known. Listen, I used to be. I was 15 years old. Hold on. I was 15 years old, knocking out 30-year-old men.
Rumor has it you're a bit chinny. When
I get through with you, they're gonna call you Sleepy Sam. I'm gonna put
Sam, let me ask you, brother. Have you ever lost a fight on the street?
I've never lost a fight. Matter of fact, let me tell you something, Jimmy. One time 6 guys tried dumping me. Let's just say the cops came after me and not them. Use your imagination. Sammy losing a fight? That's hilarious.
Hey, listen. When somebody don't have a box record, right? Somebody have a boxing record, they gotta feel, I was 18 and beat someone who's 30. I beat, 6-on-1. They gotta come up with fucking street numbers. That's all he's got, fucking street numbers.
Revolution. Let me ask you something. If you got, I'm a heavyweight, right? If you got Wilder, listen, if you got Wilder or Fury in front of me, you think the little boxing 1-2 left hook shit's gonna work? I would annihilate Fury. I would send them to the grave. If Mike Tyson was here, prime Mike Tyson, I would shove his fucking face up his ass. You hear me?
But hey, listen, I'll be honest.
Keep laughing. Ain't nobody putting no gloves on.
Dude, Slugger.
How many fights on the street did you have, Sammy?
I mean, probably somewhere around 700, but who's counting?
Dude, 700. Listen, Sammy, I'm being straight up. I'm talking about throwing hands, squaring up, throwing hands with somebody. How many fights?
That's what I'm saying, Jimmy. I'm saying about roughly 700, but who's counting?
Okay, ready? I'll be honest, dude, I'm 72.
Hey, hold on a second. You guys are trying to off on me. Some of you in here haven't even been in a fucking kindergarten schoolyard fight. You're trying to come at me?
Yeah.
Some of you haven't even been in a kindergarten fight.
out of here, man.
Slugger, stop that shit, fam. I was sitting there enjoying the show, but that 700 fight shit is some bullshit.
It ain't bullshit. It ain't bullshit if you come where I come from, D. Oh, I forgot, D. You got yourself a butler and you live in the suburbs, right? Right, rich man? Rich man? Rich man, you ain't never struggled in your life. Rich man. You don't know what it's like.
Slugger Sam.
He insulted you, D. He called you rich boy.
I know, but listen, see, that's bullshit for one. Number two, I've been.
You a rich man, ain't you, D. Jefferson? You got a butler and everything.
Slugger can it. And when you first said you never got your ass whooped, that was another lie. Because I've been in 700 street fights and everybody gets their ass whooped. Who the fuck you think you are? Kimbo Slice? Get the fuck out of here.
Listen, hold
on. Okay. D, I'll answer you. Listen, Bob. Some of us, let me answer you. Some of us, the good Lord just so happened to bless us with better genetics. Now, look, I'm not here to try compare, but for example, D. Jefferson might be, faster than recognized. That's just the way the good Lord built him. When he built me, he made sure that I knock out everything walking in my path. And that's why I go by Slugger Sam. I mean, it ain't my fault. If you want to blame somebody, you blame the good man upstairs. It ain't my fault.
What city did you grow up in, Sam? What town? What city?
Listen, I just don't want to give out too information because I feel like Lucho would probably call the cops on me in my city here.
I got this. You ready? I got it. You ready? Listen, Slugger, I got a question. I just want you calmly, please calmly, just tell us the story just tell us a story of one of your fights. Just tell us a detailed story of one of your fights. Calmly. Go ahead.
Okay, I can tell you one right now. Listen, there was one. It might have been around 2007. Listen, hold on a second, bro. Let me tell the story. So we were right in front of an apartment building, right? And me and this one guy, we were fighting. He pissed me off. And then the lady on her little balcony or porch, whatever you want to call it, she had a bunch of bricks. And he grabbed one of the bricks and he hit me on my right temple with it. Tried cracking me. And then he got scared because the brick crumbled into pieces. This thing, whatever, crumbled into pieces. And he got scared because I was still standing. And he ran away. And I was running after him. I'm not joking. Listen, man. Listen, that ain't a fucking lie. That's not a made-up story. That really happened. Back in 2007. I might have been 13, right? I would have been 13 years old at that time. I mean, come on, guys. You ain't talking to no fucking punk, man. I've been through some shit. I like D. Jefferson with his butler. Oh, D, you got a butler and everything.
Hold up. Listen, Slugger Sam, you ever seen Reservoir Dogs? The motherfucking...
Yeah, fucking I love that movie, man. Mr. Pink and his cheap ass. You won't tip. Mr. Pink is a cheap motherfucker. Won't tip nothing.
Come up with a better fake story next time.
24/7. 24/7. Wilder, whoever.
It ain't a fake story, though. It ain't a fake story.
You wouldn't last in my hood. All right, you wouldn't last.
Recognize. Listen, recognize. I'm trying to tell you, but Brooklyn ain't what it used to be. You guys were hard at one point. You know what I'm saying? Back when you guys had the dreadlocks. Know what I'm saying? Back when the cops had to change Glocks. Cause know what I'm saying? But y'all ain't the same no more, dog.
Get him off. Yo, he's so loud. Just...
All right, guys, let's end the show, man.
Brother Sam, I'll rip your shirt off and choke you with it, with your own shirt. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, listen. That's the thing, though. Recognize everybody today from Brooklyn. They ain't got no hands. They got to use a gun or a bat or something. Listen, like I said, I think the man upstairs, he gave me the 5-knuckle shuffle. All I got to do is crack a guy right in his chin. Or in the temple, and he's sleeping. And I'll tell you what, I swear to God, I can't wait for the day I find Deontay Wilder, and I make him look like a sissy.
You guys are a lot alike. This is like Bruin trying to talk to Wilder about his jab. Listen, let's work on your range this training camp. Are you fucking crazy? I fucking
recognize. I wanted to tell you real quick. If you check on Discord, I sent you a great interview with Lomachenko. I'll try to find your name too, Pete. I sent it to Bucho.
I sent you a
Just
message.
check. Okay,
I
alright,
sent you a
thanks.
message, Gonzalo.
Alright, later.
The thing is this.
I'm out of here.
All right, Slugger. So anything else, buddy?
Please.
Anything else?
Revolution, take care.
Wait. Is that what I'm hearing? A couple guys are running off because I entered the building? That's right. The bully entered the building, scaring everybody off. You call yourselves grown men? That's hilarious.
Slugger, we need
I wish
to
I
go,
had a
man.
brick.
All right, Slugger, thanks for joining us, man. We're gonna end the show.
By the way, is this BDA or Bucho?
Bucho.
Bucho,
the king, right?
That's right. Anyways, Ghost,
King of
thanks,
Montreal.
thanks for the contributions and thanks for joining us, sir. I want you to debate Brotherhood on the committee.
Yes,
I think that
that'd
would be
be a
interesting.
great debate.
That would be a great debate. Slugger.
Yeah, I'll listen. Yeah, I'll debate him. When do you want me to debate him?
I'll let you know, man. Get on this.
How long do you think that will devolve into fucking screaming at each other?
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Hey, hold on a sec. Hey, quit fucking laughing at me. All right? I'm going to do this show. I'm going to debate Brotherhood. I'm going to fucking annihilate him, but quit fucking making fun of me there, Jimmy. But anyways, I guess you'll get a hold of me through the
Is this the rider
Discord.
mediation?
Yeah.
Is this the rider mediation?
Who said I was making fun of you, brother? I said fucking before it would end up with yelling. Have you ever talked to Brotherhood?
Yeah, I yelled at him a million times, that fucking clown.
Alright, well, but that's what he does. He starts yelling over you when you start winning an argument with him. If he doesn't like your play, he can't count on
You know what? He's a copycat. He's a copycat. He's jealous of me. Brotherhood wants to be like me. You know what? Brotherhood doesn't pray to God. He prays to me, that clown.
Jesus Christ. All right, Slugger, man. I'll contact you on
I
Discord.
gotta get a copy
All
of Pete's
take care.
fucking comments tonight, man.
I must say, Stu was right. All right, brother. I mean, Slugger saying peace, baby.
All right, he's gone.
Yeah,
Great
peace,
call.
sweetheart. Stop snitching.
Hey guys, Slugger Sam is full of energy. Hey, I gotta bounce out. I gotta bounce out.
Yeah, we're gonna end the
fellas.
show, man. Thanks for joining us, everybody on
Thank
the
you for
panel.
joining us, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Bucho, thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, we'll have another show.
Everybody hit like.
All right, everybody in the chat, thank you for joining us and for, a little bit chaotic at the end. I'm a bit tired, man. But guys, thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Totally fucking disappointed in everyone.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man. I'm disappointed in everyone.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be alright, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Lobito! You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.